Chapter 360. Sima Yue waited for Gong Yan to leave before saying to Bei Gong Tang and the others, "You guys go to the pond to cultivate." "Go to the pond?" Fatty Chu said in surprise. "Isn't it fine to stay by the shore?" "I don't know why, but the spiritual qi will flow into the pool, but if you cultivate inside, it will be faster," Sima Yue said. "Then what about you?" Wei Ziqi asked as he keenly sensed the meaning behind Sima Yue's words. "I have something to explore with Chongming," Sima Yue said. "Chongming, set up a barrier for them. Don't let the people outside in." "All right." Chongming nodded and formed a seal to create a barrier that wrapped the entire cultivation pool. "Yue, what are you going to do?" Fatty Chu was helpless. "This place and the Snow Wolf clan's cultivation pool are a bit strange. I'll go and find out what's going on," Sima Yue said. "You guys stay here and cultivate. I should be back soon. Then be careful," Bei Gong Tang said. "Don't worry. If there's any danger, I'll come back earlier," Sima Yue said. She and Chongming went to the stone wall in the depths of the mouth and reached out to touch it. Sure enough, they found that it was the same as in the Snow Wolf tribe. When they came in, they noticed the similarities between this place and the other side. They guessed that there should be something similar to a barrier here. He didn't expect it to be so. Sima Yue called out Little Roar and fused with him. She then kept Chongming into her spirit pagoda and walked through the barrier. When Bei Gong Tang and the others saw her disappear from the cave, they each chose a corner of the cultivation pool to enter. "Such dense spiritual qi," Fatty Chu said excitedly. "I can feel the fire element burrowing into my body." Sima Yue was also very excited as he stretched forth a hand to grab the water. "Let's hurry up and cultivate. If we cultivate here for a year, we might be able to increase a few levels," Ouyang Fei said. "Hee, who knows? I might even be able to advance to Spirit Saint," Fatty Chu said. Sima Yue, Bei Gong Tang and the others had all entered the ranks of Spirit Emperors. He was the only one who was still at the peak of Spirit Overlord. That was why he wanted to use this opportunity to break through and become a Spirit Emperor. "Fatty, you have to work hard. If you're too far behind us, we won't wait for you," Ouyang Fei said, trying to motivate Fatty Chu. "Everyone, start cultivating." Bei Gong Tang didn't say anything else and closed her eyes to start cultivating. Because the spiritual energy was too rich, it was a bit too much for her to bear. She hurriedly mobilized the spiritual energy in her body to guide the spiritual energy that had just entered, making them obediently follow the meridians to the dantian. On the other side, Sima Yue realized that the barrier looked similar to a rock. However, after entering the barrier, she realized that there was indeed a space behind it. She called out Chongming and said, "Look here." "A cave within a cave?" Chongming looked at the cave that extended downwards and said, "Do you want to go down?" "Of course." Sima Yue said, "It's not my style to not go down when I've already discovered that it's not normal." After saying that, she jumped down. Chongming saw that she didn't hesitate and smiled before jumping down as well. Sima Yue felt that the lower she went, the higher the temperature became. Towards the end, she had no choice but to release spiritual energy to envelop herself in order to continue descending. After descending for a while, Sima Yue had no choice but to stop. She realized that the temperature here had completely melted her protective layer. "We can't go down any further," Chongming said. "I can't bear the temperature here." Sima Yue looked down and saw that they were about to reach the surface. She said, "You go back first. I'll use crimson flames to envelop myself and go down to take a look." "All right." Chongming didn't force himself and returned to the spirit pagoda. Sima Yue kept Little Roar and used crimson flames to envelop herself. She could clearly see that the space around her had become distorted due to the scorching heat. Very quickly, she reached the bottom. However, when she saw the situation below clearly, she realized that there was no place for her to land. It's actually all magma. Did the magma come from the Earth's core? She looked around. There was no place for her to land, nor was there anything special. However, she felt an unusual aura from the magma. Boom! A small bubble emerged from the bottom of the magma. When it came out of the magma, it burst and let out a slight cracking sound. An aura floated out from the bubble. This aura made her feel that it was ancient. It seems that we can't see anything here. Sima Yuyue said, it's all magma. We can't continue. Since that's the case, let's go back. Go down. Crimson Flame's voice suddenly sounded. Crimson Flame? Sima Yuyue didn't think that Crimson Flame would wake up at this time. She said, Crimson Flame, the temperature of the magma is too high. I can't stand it here. If I go down, I'll be burned to ashes. Crimson Flame was silent. Then, Sima Yuyue saw the flames around her slowly turning into a red ball. That ball carrying her moon fell into the magma and was quickly annihilated by the magma. Cultivate here. Crimson Flame said. After Sima Yuyue entered the magma, she felt that the fire elements were much denser. This red ball seemed to be able to help her absorb the fire elements. She only needed to absorb the fire elements into her body. These fire elements are much more tyrannical than the usual fire attribute spiritual energy. She felt that the fire elements she absorbed were very hot. There was even a slight danger of burning her body. Luckily, her bones and tendons were refined by Crimson Flame's nirvana fire. These fire elements didn't really hurt her. It only made her meridians hurt. However, even so, she almost couldn't bear it and her body almost exploded. So painful, she clenched her teeth. She actually felt pain in this situation. If it was Bei Gong Tang and the others, they would have been burned to ashes by the fire elements. However, that red ball didn't care if her body hurt or if the fire elements were tyrannical. It just kept absorbing the fire elements. She had no choice but to keep absorbing the fire elements into her body. It was a cycle. She didn't know how much time had passed. Sima Yuyue didn't know if the pain had numbed her or if she had gotten used to it, but she could no longer feel the pain. She only knew that many fire elements had rushed into her body. If she were to rest, those new fire elements would definitely cripple her body. That was why she didn't stop cultivating at all. Feeling that she was already used to it, Crimson Flame came out of her body. He was also surrounded by a red ball. It's rare to come across such a good place. It seems that I can recover a level from my injuries. After speaking, he came to a place not far from Sima Yuyue. He sat down cross-legged and started cultivating like a human. Chapter 361. While they were cultivating, the others in the small realm were also searching for their own opportunities. Sima Yulin brought the Sima family to another place where a treasure had appeared. Unlike Sima Yuyue and the rest, the place that they went to did not attract any spirit beasts, and there was no one to compete with them. On the second day that they arrived, they saw the natural treasure ripening. Thus, after defeating the guardian beast, they easily obtained the treasure. Yulin, where are we going now? Sima Yuyang asked. We're not going anywhere. This place is more secluded, so we'll cultivate here. Sima Yulin said. Are we not going to look for other treasures? Sima Yuqing asked. Haven't you realized that the spiritual qi here is denser than anywhere else? Sima Yulin asked back. It seems to be a little thicker. Sima Yuran said. The first thing we need to do here is to increase our strength. Sima Yulin said, the spiritual energy here is at least 3 to 4 times that of the Yilin continent. If we seize the opportunity, we will be able to increase our strength. If combined with a spirit gathering array, the spirit qi will double. Then we can cultivate for a period of time. After that, we'll go look for you and the others. We'll see if there are any treasures along the way. Sima Yuqing said. However, why is it that this place is denser than other places? Sima Yuming asked. There must be a reason. Sima Yuran said, if we can find this reason, we might be able to obtain an even greater opportunity. Sima Yulin and the others took a look and said, then let's look for the reason first. Alright. Let's take a look at the place where the spiritual chi is the densest. If we follow this, we'll be able to find the reason. Sima Yuyang said. Let me try. Sima Yulan closed her eyes and sensed for a moment, then said, I can feel that the nearby spiritual chi seems to be rushing over here. It seems to be all going over there. She pointed at a mountain peak not far away. Could it be that there is something there that is attracting them? Sima Yuqing said. We'll know once we go take a look. Sima Yulin flew over after speaking. Sure enough, the closer they got to the mountain peak, the denser the spirit chi became. When they reached the foot of the mountain peak, they felt that the spirit chi was about to turn into a puddle of water. The few of them stopped and felt that this place was a little strange. The spirit chi was obviously very dense, but why were there no spirit beasts nearby? There's an array. Sima Yulin said as he walked around. Array formation? Could there be someone here? Sima Yuqi asked. No. This array has existed for a very, very long time. It could have been set up by someone who came here in the past. Sima Yulin said. A long time ago? Sima Yuyang said, that person's array skills are really high. It's been so long, but the array is still working. Sima Yulin examined the array carefully, saying, he used spirit stones to set up the array. No wonder. What is borrowing spirit stones? Sima Yuqing asked. It's a very rare type of array spirit stone. It uses spirit stones to set up an array. The spirit stone can absorb the spiritual chi of heaven and earth to replenish the needs of the array. As long as the spiritual chi in the air does not dissipate, the array will continue to be effective. Sima Yulin explained. So that's how it is. Everyone understood. No wonder this formation can last for so long. What kind of formation is this? Can you break it? It's a little troublesome. Sima Yulin looked at the mountain peak, saying, this array is an attack array. If you attack blindly, the array will reflect the power of the attack back. That's why we can only think of a way to break it. We can't attack it head-on. Yulin, can you do it? Sima Yuyang asked. I'll try. Sima Yulin said. 2 days later, they were still outside the array. If you really can't do it, we can try to contact Fifth Bro, Sima Yuran said. Not bad. You use array skills are not bad. Who knows, he might be able to give you a hint. Sima Yuyang said. Then let's try. Sima Yulin did not force it. Sima Yuran took out the mother stone and inserted his spiritual chi. However, there was no reaction at all. Looks like we're already out of range. Sima Yuran said. Let me try again. Sima Yulin said as he leapt up and flew to the mountain peak beside them. He sat on the peak and looked over, then lowered his head to calculate something. 2 days later, he was calculating when he suddenly thought of something Sima Yuyu said. Sometimes, this array needs to be broken from the outside. However, there are other arrays that need to be broken from the inside. Arrays that need to be broken from the inside must have a Kuan position that can be entered, all the way to the center of the array. When he thought of this, his eyes shone and he flew down from the peak. After that, he circled the array twice. Yulin, have you thought of a way to break it? Sima Yuyang asked. Sima Yulin nodded, you guys stay a little further away. After speaking, he came in front of an unremarkable spirit stone, took a deep breath and stepped in. He disappeared? Sima Yuyang said in shock when he saw Sima Yulin disappear in front of him. After about an hour, Sima Yulin came out again. Yulin, did you break it? Sima Yuqing asked. Sima Yulin's face was full of joy, saying, no need to break it. We can use this array as a cover. I'll bring you guys in. You have to follow my steps closely. You can't take a single wrong step. Okay. Sima Yulin turned around and went in again. Everyone followed him closely. After 10 minutes, they all went in. Heavens, the spiritual energy here is even denser than outside. Sima Yuqing couldn't help but cry out. There's something inside that will surprise you even more. Sima Yulin said. When he came in, he had already roughly looked around. At that time, he was so shocked that he almost couldn't regain his senses. What kind of treasure is inside that cave? Sima Yuqing said with a smile. You'll know once you go in. Sima Yulin said as he brought them into the cave. This was a cave that sloped downwards. The deeper they went in, the more spacious it became. Soon, they reached the bottom. Why is there a lake here? Seeing the lake at the bottom of the cave, everyone was shocked. You guys take a good look. Sima Yulin said. Everyone didn't understand. However, seeing how mysterious he was, they all bent over to look at the lake. This is. Sima Yuran was the first to understand. His eyes were filled with shock. The others also reacted and said excitedly, could it be that this is all formed by spiritual energy? That's right. If we absorb all this spiritual energy, our strength will definitely increase by a lot. Sima Yulin was excited as well. He was no longer as calm as before. But how did this kind of spiritual energy pool form here? Sima Yuming asked. Maybe we'll understand once we absorb all this spiritual energy into our bodies. Then what are we waiting for? Let's all go in and cultivate. Sima Yuyang took the lead and jumped in. Of course, it didn't splash like normal water. The others looked at each other and jumped in as well. After that, they began to cultivate. Chapter 362. With the protection of the defense array outside, there was no need to worry about the attacks of spirit beasts and other people. The few of them had entered into a complete cultivation mode. Presumably, they would not wake up until they had absorbed all the spirit chi here. However, just in case, they still called out a few contracted beasts. Firstly, it was to prevent them from encountering an array master like Sima Yulin. Secondly, it was to prevent them from cultivating too much and exceeding the time limit. If that happened, they would be stuck here forever. They were cultivating here. Wei Ziqi and the others were cultivating in the Snow Wolf clan. Bei Gong Tang and the others were cultivating in the Saber-Toothed Tiger clan. Sima Yuyue and Qi Yan were cultivating in the lava. These were all cultivation grounds with great opportunities. The group of people's strength was increasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. The others who came in were not as lucky as them. They were not able to find a place to cultivate so quickly. Everyone was still running around everywhere. From time to time, some people would die, and some would find their own opportunities. In the blink of an eye, they had already been here for more than half a year. In a patch of grass on a plain, a group of injured people were resting. Big sister, what is the Zhan family trying to do? Guoyang looked at the wounds on Guopei's body and said angrily, are they trying to sever all ties with us? Guopei swallowed the pill, her face pale as she said, they're colluding with others right now. They want to capture us, the Yun clan, and the other clans in one fell swoop. This way, our clan won't have any proof that they did it. Guofu was also injured. Hearing Guopei's words, she said, I don't know what kind of power they've colluded with. There are actually people from that kind of power. It must be someone from the upper continent. Only that continent would have such a person. Another member of the Guo clan said. Listening to what they said, it seems like they want to deal with the Divine Devil Valley's people. It could be that they have enmity with the Divine Devil Valley in the upper continents. Guofu said. That's very likely. Guopei said, everyone, let's hurry up and heal. Otherwise, if they catch up, we won't be able to fight anymore. Yes, big sister. The other members of the Guo clan didn't say anything either. Those who were injured started to heal themselves. A day later, their injuries recovered one after another. Guopei was the first to open her eyes. Seeing the few people who were still recuperating, she didn't say anything. She stood up and carefully looked around. There was nothing special about the vast grassland, but when she saw the mountain peak in the distance, she was stunned. I was actually chased all the way to this place, she muttered to herself. The mountain peak in the distance was where they had parted ways with Sima Yue and the rest. Yue and the rest had gone to the Snow Wolf clan's territory, while they had left to search for opportunities elsewhere. She turned around, and at the end of the grassland, she could vaguely see some mountains. I wonder if they're still in that place. She might still be here. Guofu's voice sounded. Guopepe looked over and saw that she had also recovered. The Snow Wolf clan said that there is a place for them to cultivate. I don't think it's something that can be done in a day or two. Guofu walked over and looked at the faintly discernible snowy mountains. Obviously, she remembered that this was the place where she had parted ways with Sima Yue. If she's really there, we might be able to avoid this disaster. Guopepe said, I just don't know if she's willing to help us. She should be. Guofu said, Brother Uni is from the Divine Devil Valley, and she's the Junior Valley Master of the Divine Devil Valley. The people from the Divine Devil Valley are being chased together with us. She shouldn't be uninvolved. I hope someone's coming. Guopepe suddenly said. Who is it? Is it the Zhan clan? Guofu suddenly became nervous. I don't know. I can't feel their aura. Guopepe said, wake everyone up and prepare to move. Yes, big sister. Guofu woke everyone up. Just as they were about to continue escaping, Guopepe suddenly relaxed and said, there's no need to escape. It's Yunfeng and the rest. After a short while, a flying beast appeared in their field of vision. The people sitting on it were the Yun clan members. Seeing Guopepe and the rest on the ground, Yunfeng and the rest then descended. The Yun clan members were all injured. Their clothes were all soaked in fresh blood. Yunfeng, where's Brother Uni? Guopepe didn't see Uni and asked worriedly. Big Brother is with the people from the Divine Devil Valley. He didn't escape with us. Cough cough, Yunfeng's stomach was stabbed by a sword. It almost took his life. Hurry up and take some pills to heal yourself. Guopepe said. We've already finished all our healing pills. Yunfeng said with a bitter smile. Who would have thought that their Yun clan would be forced to such a state by someone? In these 2 months, they had been in a cycle of getting injured, escaping, getting injured and escaping again. They had already used up all their healing pills a few days ago. Eat ours first. Guopepe passed the last of the pills to him. Then she looked at the Guo clan members and said, who still has pills on them? Hurry up and take them out. The Guo clan members hurriedly took out all the pills they had on them. Most of them were barely enough for the Yun clan. Yunfeng knew that Guopepe and the rest didn't have any more pills. Before he could reject them, he heard Guopepe say, our 2 clans have been friends for generations. We're grasshoppers on the same rope. In this situation, if you're better, our battle power will be stronger. Don't reject them. Yunfeng looked at Guopepe's bright eyes. His heart skipped a beat. He nodded and took the pills. The Yun clan members saw that he had eaten the pills. They then took the pills too. Yunfeng ate the pills and adjusted his breathing. He said, let's continue on our way. Those people will most likely continue to chase after us. Why didn't Big Brother Uni bring you along? Guopepe didn't understand. The other party is very strong. Yunfeng said, Big Brother said that there are people from the Sage Pavilion in that group. Sage Pavilion? The Guo clan members shouted. And I also heard Big Brother say that the people from the Cloud Cave are in there too. Yunfeng said, the Cloud Cave and the Divine Devil Valley are enemies. They have joined forces with the Sage Pavilion to fight against the Divine Devil Valley. If we go with them, it will be more dangerous. Then the Zhan clan must be in cahoots with the Sage Pavilion. Guopepe said, there are a few people in white who are chasing after us. They look pure and holy. They must be from the Sage Pavilion. Big Brother Uni is already half a step into the divine rank. He should be able to fight against the Cloud Cave and the Sage Pavilion, right? Guopepe said. Yunfeng shook his head and looked in the direction they came from. He said, I'm afraid that Big Brother and the rest are in danger. Why? The Gua clan members were shocked. Are the Sage Pavilion and the Cloud Cave that strong? The people from Divine Devil Valley should also have very strong people. It's not because of that. Yin Feng said, the Divine Devil Valley has many strong people who have come, but there's someone from the Sage Pavilion who has a sacred beast contract as well. Chapter 363. What? The Gua family members cried out. Gua Pepe felt as if her heart was being squeezed. Even breathing seemed to be a little difficult. If the other party had a sacred beast, then he would be invincible in this little realm, if he did not meet Sima Yuyue. She looked in the direction of the snow mountain and said, looks like we can only try our luck there. Yun Feng followed her gaze and said, you mean, looking for her? There's no other way except for her. Gua Pepe said, I don't know what method they used to lock onto us. No matter how we run, they will catch up to us. If they really have a sacred beast, if we don't go and find her, we might not be able to hold on until the little realm opens. But half a year has passed. Is she still in the Snow Wolf clan? Yun Feng asked with uncertainty. We can only try. We don't have time now, so I'll have to trouble you to recover on the way. Gua Pepe said, if we can't find her, I'm afraid that Yuni will really. Then let's go. Yun Feng said. Regardless of whether they were here or not, he could only try his luck. Let's go. The group boarded the flying beasts. The Yun family members were recovering from their injuries on the way. Everyone else was fine except for Yun Feng, who was severely injured. He was still not fully recovered by the time they reached the Snow Wolf tribe. Stop. Who are you? Why did you barge into my snow mountain? As soon as they stepped into the snowy mountain range, they were surrounded by the Snow Wolf clan's mythical beasts. It was as if they were going to kill them as intruders. We're Sima Yoyue's friends. We want to ask if they're still here. Gua Pepe asked. Are you young Master Sima's friends? A divine beast circled around them and said, how do we know if you are really their friends? We really are. We still have the things they gave us as proof, Gua Pepe said. What's going on? A level 6 divine beast walked over and asked. This divine beast was the one that brought Sima Yuyue and the rest to the saber-toothed tiger. Commander, they said they are friends of young Master Sima and are looking for young Master Sima. The 6th level divine beast looked at them and said, I remember you guys. You were with young Master Sima at that time. It had been by the Snow Wolf King's side at that time, so it had naturally seen these people with them. Hearing the level 6 divine beast's words, the Gua family laughed. Excuse me, are they still here? Gua Pepe asked. No. The level 6 divine beast said, they left after a few days. Ah. The group was extremely disappointed. If she wasn't here, it wouldn't be easy for them to find her. If they couldn't find her, they didn't even know if they could leave the little realm alive. What should we do? If we can't find her, Yuni will. A girl from the Yun family was about to cry. I haven't finished speaking. Although she isn't here, her friends are. That level 6 divine beast said, are you looking for them? Okay, maybe they know where Yuyue is, Gua Pepe said. Then please help us inform them. They are currently cultivating. Come with me. The level 6 divine beast brought them to see the Snow Wolf King. When he saw them, he knew the ins and outs of the matter and said, Yuyue and the rest went to the saber-toothed tiger's territory. The remaining 2 are currently cultivating. Since Yoyue's people were bullied, I will send someone to inform Yi Chi and the rest to see if they have any way of contacting Yuyue. Otherwise, you will have to go to the saber-toothed tiger's territory to find them. Many thanks, Snow Wolf King. Gua Pepe said. If it was any other human, they would definitely not receive such treatment. It was only because they had some relationship with Sima Yuyue and the rest that they were treated with such courtesy. The Snow Wolf King sent someone to find Wei Ziqi and the rest, and coincidentally saw them advancing in rank. So the little wolf waited outside for a while, and only entered when it saw the advancement light disappear. Young Master Wei. The little wolf saw Wei Ziqi and said, "Someone is looking for you." Wei Ziqi and Little Two advanced in rank at the same time, and were feeling the changes in their body. When they heard what the little wolf said, they guessed that Yue and the rest had returned. But when they thought about it, if it was Sima Yue, they would have come directly to find him and Little Tuesday. "Who is looking for us?" he asked. "I haven't seen them before, but they said they are your friends." The little wolf said. "Our friends?" Wei Ziqi frowned. "Did Sima Yulin and the rest find them? Brother Ziqi, could it be Sister Gua and the rest?" Little Two said. "It's possible. Let's go take a look," Wei Ziqi said. Wei Ziqi and Little Two came to the Snow Wolf King's cave. When they saw the people inside, they knew that Little Two had guessed correctly. Ziqi. The Gua clansmen were excited when they saw him. "So it's you guys. Didn't you leave this place? Why are you back?" Wei Ziqi said. Normally, when people were looking for opportunities, they would rarely return after leaving a place. "I'll explain it to you later." Gua Peipei said, "Can you contact Yue and the rest? Did something happen?" Wei Ziqi asked when he saw how anxious she was. "Yes, we met with trouble, including the Divine Devil Valley," Gua Peipei said. After that, she explained the situation simply. Because time was tight, there were many things that she didn't have time to say. However, it made Wei Ziqi realize the seriousness of the situation. "I'll try to contact them." He took out the Mother Sun stone and inserted his spirit energy, but there was no response. The Yin clansmen were happy when they saw him take out the Mother Sun stone. They knew the use of the Mother Sun stone. But when they saw that there was no response from the Mother Sun stone, their smiles froze. "Could it be that they are very far away?" Wei Ziqi said. After that, he took out another Mother Sun stone and inserted his spirit energy. "Ziqi?" Bei Gong Tang's voice came from the Mother Sun stone. "Bei Gong, are you still at the saber-toothed tiger clan?" Wei Ziqi asked. "Yes." "What's wrong?" Bei Gong Tang asked. "Where's Yue?" "I looked for her just now, but her Mother Sun stone didn't respond," Wei Ziqi said. "Oh, she's not with us," Bei Gong Tang said. "Where did she go?" "She went underground with Chongming. She's probably cultivating down there." "Why are you looking for her so anxiously? Is something the matter?" Wei Ziqi explained the situation and the four of them felt the seriousness of the situation. After Yue went down that day, she didn't come up for a few months. "We haven't contacted her and don't know if we can contact her now." "Why don't you wait? We'll come out now and see if we can find her." At that time, Bei Gong Tang's words were cut off halfway. Wei Ziqi shouted a few times but there was no response. After a while, Bei Gong Tang's voice came from the Mother Sun stone. "We don't need to go down, this guy came out alive." Chapter 364. The spiritual qi in the cultivation pool had been almost completely absorbed. In the past 8 or 9 months, the four of them had all risen by 2 to 3 levels, which could be considered a considerable gain. One had to know that it would take several years for one to advance to Spirit King. Fatty Chu finally broke through the Spirit Grandmaster stage and successfully advanced to the Spirit Emperor stage. He was the slowest to advance in the group. However, if he took this talent out, he would still be in existence that would frighten a group of people. As for Ouyang Fei and Bei Gong Tang, they had risen by 3 levels, and the distance between them and him had increased. Fatty Chu did not even have the time to complain before he heard the bad news from Wei Ziqi's side. Before he could even express his anger, the few of them were stunned by the sounds coming from behind the stone wall. Roars could be heard, mixed with the angry roars of people, the collision of spiritual energy, and the sound of magma surging. It was as if a great battle was taking place behind it. Just when they were considering if they should go in and take a look, Sima Yue appeared in front of them in a sorry state. Seeing that half of Sima Yoyue's clothes were burnt and her body was black like coal, the few of them were stunned for a few seconds. Then, they laughed unkindly. Bei Gong, say something. Did something happen on your side? Wei Ziqi's voice came from the mother-son stone. Bei Gong Tang maintained her smile and picked up the mother-son stone, saying, we don't need to go down. This guy came out alive. We'll contact you in a while. After saying that, she put away the mother-son stone. Fifth bro, what's wrong with you? Sima Yulu held back his laughter as he helped her up and asked. Sima Yu used Sima Yu Li's strength to stand up. When she opened her mouth, black smoke came out. What a tragedy. I almost became barbecued meat. I'll go pack up first. After saying that, she flashed into the spirit pagoda. Half a day later, she came out of the spirit pagoda. At this time, the injuries on her body had completely disappeared. Fifth bro, what have you been through in this half a year? How did you end up like this? Sima Yulu asked. Don't mention it, Sima Yuyue waved her hand as she recalled what she had gone through in the past half a year. Yuyue, you've become a spirit paragon? Ouyang Fei suddenly asked in surprise. Yes. Sima Yuran nodded. This was probably the biggest gain of the past few months. Every day, her body felt like it was being roasted by flames. She had no choice but to use all her energy to guide the fire elements and protect her body. Although her strength was increasing very quickly, the process was too difficult to endure. When she became a spirit elder, the lava suddenly erupted. Coincidentally, the bubbles that Qi Yan had created for her were no longer effective. If she hadn't run fast enough, she wouldn't have been able to get out. Yuyue, you actually broke through the threshold of Spirit Paragon. Didn't they say that this threshold was very difficult? Fatty Chu cried out loudly. He had just become a spiritual emperor, and this guy had already become a spiritual venerable. Did he have to be so scary? Sima Yuyue also felt that this threshold wasn't easy. She had risen 4 ranks in the first 6 months, reaching the peak of spiritual emperor. It was only after 3 months that she successfully broke through and became a first-rank spirit paragon. In 9 months, she rose 5 ranks. From a 5th-rank spirit paragon to a 1st-rank spirit paragon. Damn, if we knew earlier, we would have gone down to cultivate as well. Fatty Chu cried out. Bei Gong Tang and the others looked at her enviously. Sima Yuyue shook her head, saying, if it weren't for Qi Yan's protection, I would have been burnt to ashes before I even reached the bottom. So dangerous? What exactly is down there? Everyone was shocked. They naturally knew how powerful Qi Yan's flames were. They actually needed his protection to reach the bottom. If they had gone down, they would have been burnt to a crisp. Sima Yuyue explained the situation down there simply. However, it still left everyone speechless. They all thought that the place down there was specially prepared for people like Sima Yuyue. Right, when I came out, I saw you guys talking to Ziqi. Did something happen? Did he come out as well? Nope. Something happened. Bei Gong Tang said. Yulin and the others? No, Gua Pei Pei and the others went to the Snow Wolf clan to look for us. In the end, they were the only ones there, so they asked him to contact you. However, your mother's stone didn't respond and couldn't contact you. In the end, they found me. Bei Gong Tang replied. Gua Pei Pei and the others? Why would they look for us? It's like this, Bei Gong Tang told her everything that Wei Ziqi had told her. Sima Yuyue furrowed her eyebrows after hearing it, saying, I never thought that the people from the Divine Devil Valley would come in as well. Those whatever cave and sage pavilion people actually dared to join hands to kill them. Did they think that I, the Junior Valley Master, didn't exist? They didn't even know of your existence. Ouyang Fei added. Cough cough dash, Sima Yuyue glared at Ouyang Fei. She had finally managed to show her dominance, but this guy still dared to tear her apart. Since something has happened, let's go out. Yuyue, Are we going to rush over now? Bei Gong Tang asked. No rush. Sima Yue said, although we have Chongming, don't they have sacred beasts too? Other than that, we still have to bring some helpers over. Let's go, we'll look for Gong Yan first. Gong Yan and a few elders were in the cave discussing how to leave. Ever since Sima Yue and the others went in, they could no longer enter that place. They couldn't even see what was going on inside. As the one-year deadline approached, they became more and more nervous. They didn't know if they would be able to leave this place. However, they couldn't see Sima Yue and the other situation. Thus, everyone became anxious. Wang Dash, a saber-toothed tiger, ran in from outside and said excitedly, those people have come out of seclusion. Really? Gong Yan became excited. Really? They're walking over here right now. I think they'll be here soon. Then inform outside. Bring them in when they're here. Gong Yan ordered. Sima Yue and the others followed the saber-toothed tiger that was guarding them to Gong Yan's cave. The guard told them to enter directly. The moment they entered, they saw Gong Yan and the elders talking about something. Seeing them enter, they stopped and looked at them excitedly. You're finally out of seclusion. An elder said. We can't see what's going on inside from outside. Are you all okay? Gong Yan said. We're fine. Sima Yue said, we're already out of seclusion. Have you all decided? We've decided. We accept your conditions. We'll listen to you for 100 years after we leave. Gong Yan hadn't even opened his mouth when an elder expressed his stance. I wonder when we'll be leaving? Sima Yue looked at Gong Yan. Gong Yan nodded, expressing that he agreed with the elder's words. All right, since you've agreed, then go and gather the people. We'll leave immediately. Chapter 365. Now. Gong Yan and the elders were shocked. Don't we still have 3 months? I have some matters to settle. After I leave, I won't have time to come back. Sima Yue said, if you don't leave with me, you won't be able to leave. Gong Yan was stunned for a moment before saying, all right. However, I will need some time to gather my clansmen. All right. Thus, all the members of the saber-toothed tiger clan received the order to return within a day and pack their things. Sima Yue was very curious. These spirit beasts still had things to pack. However, thinking about the piles of medicinal ingredients in the warehouse and the various materials in the palace, she knew that the tiger clan also had a habit of collecting treasures. Presumably, those saber-toothed tigers had their own little warehouse. The next morning, Sima Yue left. Following her was a group of spirit paragon-level saber-toothed tigers. Those low-leveled ones were all thrown into the spirit pagoda by her. However, it was not their usual place, but a separate space created by Little Spirit. There was nothing inside, and they could only look at the pitch-black space. However, they could still breathe. This way, she could bring them along and not let them know the secret of the spirit pagoda. Gong Yan and the rest saw that she really had a place that could accommodate life and were even more convinced that she would bring them out. Those elders were already fantasizing that they would be promoted to sacred beasts when they left. In the Snow Wolf clan, the Gua and Yun clansmen were anxiously waiting. They had already stayed here for 2 days and did not know what was going on over at Yuni's side. Suddenly, a wolf's howl was heard. Rong and Zhao's expression changed as they immediately stood up and said, prepare for battle. Wei Ziqi and the rest saw that they had such a big reaction after hearing the wolf's howl and asked, did something happen? A large group of saber-toothed tigers have invaded. Rong said. I don't think you need to be so nervous. Wei Ziqi said. No, the last time the saber-toothed tigers invaded, they brought along their elders. We were not in time and Xiao was injured. Rong said. If I didn't guess wrongly, it should be Yue who brought the saber-toothed tigers here. Wei Ziqi said. It's her. Is she going to bring the saber-toothed tigers out too? Yes. Wei Ziqi replied, previously, Bei Gong told me that they have already discussed the terms with the saber-toothed tiger tribe. I'm afraid that they won't have the time to come back and bring you all back. The only way is to bring you all along. If you're still willing to leave, you should quickly inform the Snow Wolf clan to prepare to leave. Wei Ziqi. The mother-son stone in Wei Ziqi's hands suddenly lit up. You. Wei Ziqi replied. Ziqi, go and inform the Snow Wolf King that we have already rushed over and will arrive in half a day's time. Tell them that if they want to leave with us, they should quickly prepare. We don't have much time to waste. Sima Yue said. I'm with them. They all heard your words. Wei Ziqi said as he glanced at the Snow Wolf King. Rong and Sky exchanged looks and said, we'll gather our clansmen immediately. By the time Sima Yue brought the saber-toothed tigers to the Snow Wolf clan's territory, everyone was already prepared. Sima Yue looked at the thousands of snow wolves standing neatly on the snowy mountain and sighed. They were indeed faster than the saber-toothed tigers. Yue. Guo Pei saw Sima Yue and was a little excited. Even the way she addressed her changed. Sima Yue got down from Little Rock and nodded at Guo Pei, saying, we'll talk about the details on the way. I'll settle the Snow Wolf clan first so that we can leave earlier. All right. Guo Pei said. Rong saw Sima Yue return and immediately felt that her aura was different. He asked in surprise, you're a spirit paragon? I was lucky. Sima Yue said, are you all ready? We're ready. How are you going to bring so many of us away? Rong asked. I have a place. You can go there. You can breathe there. Sima Yue said, your clansmen will have to stay there for the time being. The saber-toothed tigers are there too? Sky narrowed his eyes at the saber-toothed tigers that were following them. His body emitted a dangerous aura. No matter what grudges you have, if you want to leave, you have to put them down now. After 100 years, you can do whatever you want. Sima Yue said. Although Rong really wanted to take revenge for Sky, he still nodded and said, all right. Then I'll bring your clansmen over now. Sima Yue said. Seeing that the Snow Wolf King did not object, she waved her hand and the young Snow Wolf clan members disappeared. Yue, why didn't you bring them in with you? Wei Ziqi asked. Aren't we going to deal with a lot of people? When the time comes, we'll need spirit paragons and above to help. Sima Yue said without hesitation. Don't tell me you want to bring so many spirit beasts along with you. Bei Gong Tang's face darkened. Previously, Sima Yue did not mention it and they did not think about it. Now that they heard it, they felt that she was a little unreliable. Cough cough, can't I? Sima Yue said. She just wanted to look cool when she was on the road. Seeing that everyone was looking at her with disapproval, she helplessly recalled all the spirit beasts, leaving only the Snow Wolf King and the saber-toothed Tiger King behind. The Guo clan members were stunned when they heard that Sima Yue had advanced to Spirit Paragon. Now that they saw that the spirit beasts had disappeared, they regained their senses. In 9 months, she had actually advanced from a spirit saint to a spirit paragon. How much luck did she have in these few months? Yue, why do you have that kind of space that can contain life? Guoliang asked. Sima Yue smiled and said, it's not strange for a beast tamer to have something that can contain life. It's just that mine is a little bigger. Rong and Gong Yan did not know that beast tamers had this kind of space, but the Guo clan and Yin clan members knew that most beast tamers would have something that could contain life. It was different from an interspatial ring, but it was similar. Hearing her say this, although they were surprised that she had such a big space, they did not say anything. You're also a beast tamer? Yin Feng looked at Sima Yue. Big brother said that you're a pill master and that your talent in alchemy is very strong. Pill master? Aren't you an array master? Guoliang cried out in surprise. Cough cough, both. Sima Yue said, alright, let's go now. Where is Yuni now? Do you know which direction we're heading in? Although she wanted to change the topic, everyone still looked at her with a shocked expression. A 22-year-old pill master, array master, and beast tamer. She was even a spirit paragon. Damn, there were not many people who could match up to her talent in the upper continents, right? Chapter 366. Yunfeng, didn't you say you were going to look for your brothers? Where should we go now? Wei Ziqi asked. Oh. Yunfeng regained his senses and said, I have a way to find my brother. As he spoke, he took out a piece of jade. It was similar to the one in Sima Yoyue's hand. There were 2 red dots on it. Big brother brought this back from the top. He gave it to me before he left. He said that as long as I followed this, I would be able to find her. Yunfeng said, they're moving quickly. Oh no, they're running so quickly. They must be being chased. They're running towards us. They're changing directions. Fatty Chu said. Big brother must have noticed that we were in this direction, so he changed his direction. Yunfeng said. Do you and your brother have a Sun-Mother stone? Sima Yuyue asked. Yes. Yunfeng said. He doesn't look too far away. Try to contact him. Sima Yuyue said. All right. Yunfeng took out the Sun-Mother stone and injected spiritual energy into it. After waiting for a while, there was a reaction from the other side. We've made contact. The Gua and Yun family members were elated. Feng, what's wrong? Yuni's voice sounded depressed. She was probably injured. Brother, are you being hunted down? Yunfeng asked. Yes. Feng, if I don't survive this time, you must survive. Go to the primordial lands and find the divine Devil Valley. Tell them what happened here and let them take revenge for us. Yuni was no longer lazy and her voice was somewhat ruthless. Why do we have to go up and find Master to take revenge? Sima Yuyue said. She quite liked this lazy and handsome guy. You. Yuni's eyes lit up when she heard Sima Yoyue's voice. What's the matter, Yuni? A voice asked. Sima Yuyue took the Mother-Sun stone and said, Yuni, take your people and fly outside immediately. We'll pick you up. Okay. Yuni said excitedly. Sima Yuyue returned the Mother-Sun stone to Yunfeng and flew onto Little Rock, saying, let's go. Someone dares to bully my divine Devil Valley's people. Damn it, do they think I'm a junior valley master? After being yelled, Bei Gong Tang also went up and said, in any case, I'm an inner disciple. Aya, according to what you said, we will most likely become part of the divine Devil Valley in the future. This is bullying our people. If we don't go and fight, they will really think that our divine Devil Valley is easy to bully. Fatty Chu stomped his feet and flew up as well. If we don't perform well, what if Grandpa Devil doesn't want us anymore? Wei Ziqi nodded his head, and actually looked a little pretentious. Initially, he thought that Sima Yu was the only one from the divine Devil Valley, but he didn't expect that they were all. Fatty Chu looked at the people below and said, what are you guys doing? Come up. Rong and Gong Yen sat on both sides of Sima Yuyue. They were determined not to sit together. The Gua and Yun family members quickly flew up. Little Rock flapped his wings and flew towards Yuni and the others at the fastest speed. Sima Yuyue turned around and looked at the snow mountain. She thought of the enchantment around the cultivation pool. There should be a place like hers. Unfortunately, she didn't have the chance to cultivate now. On the other side, Yuni put down the Mother-Sun stone and said, let's change direction and fly towards the northeast. Why? Didn't you say your brother and the others were in that direction? Are we going to find them? The man who spoke just now said. That's right, Yuni. If we go over, won't we be bringing danger to them? Another person from Divine Devil Valley said. Don't worry. Cloud Cave and Sage Pavilion's arrogant days are coming to an end. Yuni said with a smile. All right. Seeing that he was so insistent, they changed direction again. Yuni lowered her head and looked at the red dot that belonged to Yunfeng moving quickly. Both parties were getting closer quickly. Her lips curled into a charming smile. When she heard the Junior Valley Master's voice just now, it seemed that the Divine Devil Valley was a little overbearing. One day later, the two red dots had almost overlapped. The distance between the two parties could no longer be determined by this. This is useless. I think they're not far away. Little Rock, pay attention to the aura around you. Sima Yue said. Yes, Master. Little Rock replied. Peng dash, two waves of spiritual energy collided and spread far and wide in the air. The people on their backs were shocked by the sound. Could it be that they'd been caught up? Fatty Chu said. Yunfeng, contact them. Sima Yue instructed with a serious expression. If they had really been caught up, the situation wouldn't be optimistic. All right. Yunfeng said as he took out the Mother-Sun stone. But just as he contacted them, there was an explosion and there was no more news from them. It's really them. Chongming, bring me over first. Sima Yue called Chongming out. Chongming's aura was much stronger than when he first came here. Sima Yue had advanced in rank and the other spirit beasts had also advanced in rank. Only he needed more energy and didn't advance in rank. But he was close to the next level. After Chongming came out, he transformed into his original form. After Sima Yue flew up, he brought her over quickly. Since he's so fast, why didn't he bring us along? Someone from the Yun family said softly. Sacred beast, is it something that we can sit on whenever we want? Fatty Chu sneered. That person was speechless. He only thought that Chongming was Sima Yue's contracted beast. He didn't think that he was a sacred beast. Was his back something that ordinary people could sit on whenever they wanted? Let's hurry up. Wei Ziqi said, Little Rock, we'll have to trouble you. I'm tired, I can't fly anymore. Little Rock slowed down. The Yun family's faces were burning. It seemed like that person's words had offended Little Rock. Sorry, he's just worried about his brother's situation. Please don't take it to heart. Yunfeng said. Cough cough, Little Rock, hurry up. We still have to save the Divine Devil Valley's disciples. Wei Ziqi laughed secretly in his heart and patted Little Rock's back. All right. Little Rock snorted twice before increasing his speed. Sima Yue sat on Chongming's back and was much faster than Little Rock. They quickly left them behind. Peng, Yini and the Divine Devil Valley's people were beaten to the ground along with their flying beasts. Ha ha ha, isn't your Divine Devil Valley very powerful? The person who came stood on the flying beast and looked down arrogantly. Zhou Guang Xian, does your cloud cave really want to kill us all? Aren't you afraid that we'll get out alive and seek revenge on your cloud cave? A Divine Devil Valley's disciple said. If you all die here, who would know that we did it? Zhou Guang Xian laughed and said, Men, go down and kill them all. Chapter 367. The group of people jumped down from the flying beast and landed right in front of Uni. And Carrot. Calm, Uni, I heard that you've been very proud of yourself recently. How could your handicapped master be willing to let you out of the Divine Devil Valley this time? A man with a scar on his face looked at Uni with a sinister smile. Zhonghai, you're here too. Uni's face sank when she saw the person closest to her. Cloud Cave's Zhonghai had always been against him. The two of them had been enemies for more than 10 years. He didn't expect to meet him here today. This person was vicious and merciless. Yunfeng and the others had not come yet. It seemed that this time, he was doomed. Zhonghai, why are you still talking nonsense with him? Hurry up and clean him up so that we can chase after the rest of them, Zhou Guangxin urged in the air. Senior brother, why are you in such a hurry? It's rare that we have time to chat with the Divine Devil Valley's disciples. If we send them on their way, we'll be rude if we're too anxious. Zhonghai said. That's right, senior brother. We have to send them on their way. After the other man finished speaking, he used the knife in his hand to cut the arm of the person in front of him. The pain made the person's face turn as white as paper. He covered his arm with cold sweat, but he didn't make a sound, let alone beg for mercy. Just in case, Zhou Guangxin said. Well, since senior brother is in such a hurry, then let's end this quickly. Zhong Hai said, I'll first cut off your hands and feet, then cut off your head. How about that? Zhong Hai, don't you dare. A few people on the other side shouted. I dare? Ha, I dare. Zhong Hai laughed and waved the sword in his hand, ready to chop down. No. The people from Divine Devil Valley shouted. Even Uni closed her eyes, waiting for the last bit of pain. But after a few seconds, he didn't feel anything. Instead, he heard the voice he had been waiting for. Move then. I want to see how you're going to look at his limbs and head. He opened his eyes and saw Sima Yue standing on the back of a big bird. With a leap, she landed in front of him and kicked Zhong Hai away. Uni, I'm not late, am I? She turned around and looked at Uni, who was seriously injured and unable to move, and said with a smile. Cough, cough. It's not too late. Uni clutched her chest and coughed up blood, but her face was smiling. Sima Yue looked at the smile on his face and said, I realize that you have the aura of a demon when you smile. Who are you? How dare you interfere in our business? Zhong Hai had just been immobilized. Although he was kicked by Sima Yue, he regained his freedom. Humph, you're just a level 1 spiritual venerable. How dare you try to be a hero? A man from the cloud cave scolded when he saw Sima Yue's strength. Everyone else had the same thought as well. After all, Sima Yue had shown her strength earlier. Only Zhuang Guang Xian did not underestimate Sima Yue. What she did to Zhong Hai just now was not something an ordinary person could do. He flew and landed in front of Sima Yue and said, It's best if you don't interfere in our business. If you leave now, we won't bother you. Senior. Zhong Hai and the rest were anxious. If he really left, what would they do if he told others about them? Shut up. Zhuang Guang Xian scolded Zhong Hai, then looked at Sima Yue and asked, What do you think? Why don't we settle this? Sima Yue sneered, You're going to kill my Mystic Valley's disciple. You still want me to stand by and do nothing, and wait for you to gather your strength to kill me? You're from the Divine Devil Valley. Zhuang Guang Xian looked at Sima Yue suspiciously. Why didn't he know that there was someone like her in the Mystic Valley? Although I haven't been to the Divine Devil Valley, I am indeed from there. Sima Yue said, So it's impossible for me to leave. But I can leave your lives behind. Shameless boasting. The Cloud Cave's people looked at Sima Yue, we're at least 4th level spirit paragons. You, a 1st level spirit paragon, want to take our lives? Whether or not I'm shameless, you'll know in a while. Sima Yue laughed evilly. You're not from the Divine Devil Valley. The Divine Devil Valleys. Blood thumb ring. Zhuang Guang Xian suddenly saw the blood thumb ring on Sima Yue's thumb and cried out involuntarily. Oh, it seems like you recognize this thing. Sima Yue said, That's true. If it wasn't for this thing, I wouldn't be considered a member of the Divine Devil Valley. Blood thumb ring. She's a junior valley master? The Divine Devil Valley's people looked at Sima Yue in shock. They all knew that there was a junior valley master in the Yilin continent. They didn't expect to meet her here, and even more so, didn't expect that she would come to save them. Since you know my identity, I won't talk nonsense. Sima Yue said, Just like what you said, if we want to keep it a secret, we can only kill all of you. Chongming, I'll leave it to you. All right. Chongming descended from the sky. When he reached the ground, he had already changed into his human form. Sacred beast. Everyone cried out. They didn't expect her to have a sacred beast. When Chongming made his move, it was absolutely clean. Those people didn't even see how he made his move and they all died one by one. Sima Yue didn't watch Chongming make his move. She came to Yuni's side and squatted down. Seeing that he was covered in injuries, she sighed. I haven't seen you for a few months and you're already injured like this? Yuni laughed bitterly. It's really not as good as before. Alright, it's better that you don't talk. In a while, you won't have the strength to catalyze the pill. Sima Yuyue said as she took out a pill for him to consume. Then she looked at the people from Divine Devil Valley and asked, these people are all from our valley? Yes, they are all disciples from different valleys in the inner valley. Yuni said. There are even valleys? Sima Yuyue asked. Don't the people from Divine Devil Valley live together? It's not that they don't live together. It's just that people from different professions have different names. Yuni said. Oh, it's still like this. So troublesome. Sima Yuyue said, you're all injured. Why are you all so silly and don't know how to take pills to heal your injuries? Greetings to Junior Valley Master. Those people were a little awkward, but they still bowed to Sima Yuyue. Forget it. Sima Yuyue said, are there no more pills? The people from Divine Devil Valley nodded awkwardly. I knew it. Sima Yuyue said, Yunfeng and the rest have all finished their pills. You guys should be about the same. You over there, you look like you can still move. Distribute them to everyone. She said to a young man. That man walked over, took the pills and swallowed all of them. Yuyue, do you want to keep him alive? Chongming looked at the last person and asked. Keep him alive for the time being. I still have some things to ask him later. Sima Yuyue said. All right. Chongming nodded and didn't make a move on him for the time being. Zhonghai sat on the ground. Looking at the sudden reversal of the situation and the sacred beast in front of him, he felt like he was in a dream. Of course, this dream was also a nightmare. Chapter 368. The people from the Divine Devil Valley were very curious about this Junior Valley Master who appeared out of nowhere. However, all of them were severely injured and the most important thing was to heal their injuries. After a while, Little Rock brought the remaining people and hurried over. Brother Yuni, are you alright? Guapepe was the first to fly down. She landed in front of Yuni and looked at him with concern. I'm fine. Yuni opened her eyes. There was a lazy smile on her face. Fortunately, Junior Valley Master came in time. Thank you, Yuyue. Yunfeng bowed to Sima Yuyue. What are you thanking me for? I just saved the people in our valley. Sima Yuyue said, then turned to Bei Gong Tang and Ouyang Fei. Do you guys still have a lot of healing pills? Both of them shook their heads and said, we've already cleaned up our medicinal pills before, and then distributed them to everyone. There's not much left. Junior Valley Master, many of them are also alchemists. It's just that they were being chased and didn't have the time to refine pills. Let's wait for them to recover and let them refine pills themselves. Yuni said. That would be a waste of time. When they recover, it will be our turn to deal with those people. Sima Yuyue said, the three of us should make use of this time to refine some pills, in case we don't have enough later on. As she spoke to this point, she began to worry. She didn't know how Sima Yu Ran and the others were doing right now. Would they run out of pills as well? She took out the Mother-Son Stone and tried to contact Sima Yu Ran and the others. She realized that they were too far away and there was no response. Are you worried about them? Bei Gong Tang walked over and asked. Yes. I haven't contacted them for such a long time. I don't know how they are doing. Sima Yuyue said. Don't worry, Yu Lin isn't a simple guy. With him around, the others will be fine. Bei Gong Tang said. Okay, let's wait for a while. Once we're done here, we'll go look for them. Sima Yu took out the positioning jade stone. There were 2 red dots on it that were in a stationary state. Then let's refine the pills. The earlier we finish, the earlier we can go find them. Bei Gong Tang said considerately. All right. The 3 of them went to the side and started to refine pills. Many of the people in Divine Devil Valley were alchemists, but when they saw the three of them refining pills proficiently and the rate of pills produced from every furnace, everyone was quite surprised. This wasn't difficult for them, but for these people who grew up in the lower realms, this wasn't easy. Moreover, they were much older than these three. Especially Sima Yoyue's technique, it could be compared to the previous generation. No wonder the Second Valley Lord chose her as his disciple. That was what everyone in the Divine Devil Valley was thinking. By the time their injuries were almost healed, Sima Yoyue and the others were almost done refining the pills. She distributed the pills to everyone, including the members of the Yun and Guo families. "Alright, now tell me what's going on." Sima Yoyue said, "Who are the people who want to kill you? What kind of hatred do they have for you to go all out to kill you? Let me tell you." Yuni looked at Zhonghai and said, "They are from the Cloud Cave. They are our Divine Devil Valley's enemies." Cloud Cave? Have we reached the point where we will fight to the death with them? Sima Yoyue asked. You can say that. Yuni said, "The Second Valley Lord was injured by the Cloud Cave's cave master." What? My master was injured by them? Sima Yoyue glanced at Zhonghai. The murderous intent in her eyes made him shiver. That's right. Yuni nodded. It seems that other than them, there are others who are trying to kill you? Sima Yoyue asked. Yes. The Sage Pavilion is colluding with the Cloud Cave. There are also the Zhan clansmen and people from other continents. Yuni said. The Sage Pavilion is colluding with the Zhan clansmen because of that old man who became the assistant pavilion master, right? Sima Yoyue said, but they can gather people from other continents. Why can't you find people too? Because they find people with connections. For example, the Zhan clan and the Sage Pavilion have people who entered the upper realm. Our Divine Devil Valley doesn't take in many people, so we can gather few people. Plus, our luck isn't very good, so we didn't meet many people. And the other party has sacred beasts. Those people don't dare to be with us. A Divine Devil Valley disciple said. How many people do they have? Sima Yoyue asked. We don't know either. But we guess that there are at least 1,000. Yuni said. 1,000? So many people? Fatty Chu said in surprise. Just the Cloud Cave has at least 100 to 200 people. Shen Rao, the Divine Devil Valley disciple who spoke first said, and they seem to be targeting us. Once we met them, they started to chase us. There are many from the Sage Pavilion. Another person said, including the people they gathered, 1,000 people is a conservative estimate. The other party has so many people. Why are there so few of you? Sima Yoyue said. The Divine Devil Valley had about 30 to 40 people. Including the Yun and Guo clansmen, there were less than 100 people. We didn't have so many people before. 10 to 20 people died in the battle. Someone said with red eyes. Yes. Junior Valley Master, you have to take revenge for them. Don't worry. If they dare to kill the Divine Devil Valley, we can also encircle and annihilate them. Cloud Cave and the Sage Pavilion, do you know where they are now? Sima Yoyue asked. I don't know the details, but I know the general location. Shen Rao said. Alright, then let's start the counterattack now. Sima Yoyue said. Because there were many people, everyone sat on their own flying beasts. Only Yuni and Shen Rao were called over by Sima Yoyue to understand the details of the Cloud Cave. After Yuni's explanation, Sima Yoyue then knew that the hatred between the Cloud Cave and the Divine Devil Valley was so strong that it couldn't be resolved. The Cloud Cave was seen as a righteous sect. But the Divine Devil Valley was both righteous and evil. Although there were more professional masters, most of them had bad tempers and often offended people. The Cloud Cave was one of the powers that had been offended. The reason why they hated each other in the beginning was unclear now. However, for thousands of years, the two forces would fight each other whenever they met. When they met in private, they would definitely fight to the death. As more and more people died, the conflict between the two forces could no longer be resolved. And the Cloud Cave and the Sage Pavilion were very close. Maybe it was because they both liked to pretend to be holy and righteous. Birds of a feather flocked together. According to Yun-yi and the others' guesses, the Sage Pavilion and Cloud Cave had been preparing to make a move against them in the Little Realm from the very beginning. That was why they had come prepared and caught the Divine Devil Valley's people off guard. Chapter 369. The people of Divine Devil Valley still felt like they were dreaming, but compared to Zhonghai's nightmare, their dream was a beautiful dream. Copy this address views %77%, 77%, 77% 2e%, 62%, 69%, 71%, 69% 2e%, 60%, 65 Actually, when Old Man Devil came back and announced that he had taken in a disciple in the Yi-Lin continent, and this disciple was recognized by the Blood Ring and became their junior valley master, everyone in the Divine Devil Valley was shocked, and some even rebelled. From their point of view, the people from the lower realm continent weren't anything special. Such a person wasn't qualified to be a junior valley master. Many of them wanted to obtain Old Man Devil's inheritance, but none of them succeeded. In the end, a person from the lower realm obtained the position they dreamed of. But the Divine Devil Valley's rules were like that, they were not allowed to offend their superiors. Therefore, when Yuni saw Sima Yuyue, she had to bow to her even though she didn't want to. However, they didn't expect that this junior valley master, who they had always looked down on, would come down from the sky and save them, pulling them back from the brink of death. Moreover, she was decisive in killing, and her talent was even higher than theirs, causing them to completely submit to her. Junior Valley Master, I didn't expect you to advance from a spiritual emperor to a spiritual venerable in just 9 months. Yuni sighed. I was lucky to get an opportunity. Sima Yuyue said. Advancing from a spirit emperor to a spirit supremacy in 9 months? Shen Rao looked at Sima Yuyue in shock. Was the Junior Valley Master a peak spirit emperor before? No, Sima Yuyue said. That is? Yu was a 5th level spirit saint before. In 9 months, oh, you've risen by 4 levels? Fatty Chu said. 4 levels in 9 months? Or is there a huge gap between them? Shen Rao cried out, attracting the attention of the others. After knowing that Sima Yuyue had advanced in rank, the other Divine Devil Valley's disciples were all dumbfounded as they had never seen anyone advance in such a manner. Even if they advanced faster in the upper continents, no one had ever encountered such a situation. Master, there's a situation up ahead. Little Peng interrupted, breaking everyone's shock. What's wrong? Sima Yuyue asked. There's a fight. Let's go and take a look. Sima Yuyue said, if they are from those forces, we can clear the area. Yes, Master. Little Rock led them forward at high speed. Not long after, they saw a group of people fighting. On one side, there were mostly women, and their clothes were similar. They should be from the same sect. He couldn't tell which force the other party was from. They are from the Moonbow clan. Shen Rao immediately recognized the white-robed women. Is he close to us? Sima Yuyue asked. Not bad. The Second Valley Lord has a good relationship with one of their elders, Granny Feng. Yuni said. That's Zhong Quan. Shen Rao suddenly pointed at one of the men. Seeing the confusion on Sima Yuyue's face, Yuni explained, Zhong Quan is Zhong Hai's brother. They are all from the Cloud Cave. So Zhong Quan is leading a group of people to kill the Moonbow clan people? Sima Yuyue said. Since that's the case, what are you waiting for? Go and save the damsels in distress. With her command, the Divine Devil Valley's people were filled with fighting spirit. All of them wanted to fly over and join in the battle, to save the damsels in distress. Beauties, I told you not to put up a fight. You should just surrender obediently and let our brothers have some fun. That way, you can live a little longer. A wretched man laughed wretchedly. Even if we die, we won't let you have your way. A woman shouted. Zhong Quan, you're leading people to kill the younger generation of the various sections. Aren't you afraid that the cloud cave will be hunted down by the various sects? Zhong Quan and Zhong Hai looked alike, but he looked more ruthless. Hearing the other party's reprimand, he laughed coldly. Since we've already made such a decision, we're already prepared for such a situation. Of course, we're only doing this because we have the strength. So you do have the strength. Sima Yoyue's voice rang out, shocking the people who were fighting. Weren't you? Seeing the Divine Devil Valley's people, Zhong Quan's face darkened, saying, "Where's my brother?" Of course we sent him on his way. Sima Yoyue said, "We're sending you to see him now." Yuni. Compared to Zhong Quan and the rest, the Moonbow clan's people were much more excited. What are you waiting for? You were shouting about saving the beauties just now. Why aren't you going now? Sima Yoyue waved her hand. All right. The Divine Devil Valley's people joined in the battle, attacking Zhong Quan's people. Sima Yoyue also joined in the battle in order to consolidate her strength. When the Divine Devil Valley's people saw that she could beat a third-level spirit paragon to the point where he couldn't even fight back, they were so shocked that their jaws almost dropped to the ground. What a strong battle power. It's so easy for her to fight someone of a higher level. The Junior Valley Master is mighty. Damn, that move is so cool. The crowd sighed. When Yuni saw Sima Yoyue's battle power, she couldn't help but sigh. This guy's strength was definitely unrivaled in the same level. No wonder he was chosen to be the Junior Valley Master. With this kind of strength, even if it was the Divine Devil Valley's people, no one in the younger generation could match up to him. Yuni was at the peak of the Spirit Paragon stage, and it wasn't difficult for her to deal with these people. So the battle situation was quickly reversed, and the people who were originally overbearing were all beaten up by the Divine Devil Valley's people until they lost the ability to move. The Moonbow clan's people gradually retreated from the battle after the Divine Devil Valley's people arrived. When the battle was over, a beautiful lady came forward to express her gratitude to Yuni. Yuni, thank you all. If it wasn't for you, I'm afraid we wouldn't have survived today. The beautiful lady smiled slightly, and Fatty Chu almost drooled. If you want to thank someone, you should thank our Junior Valley Master. Yuni said. Junior Valley Master? Isn't Ing Bai Chuan unable to enter this little realm? The beautiful lady frowned slightly. If that was the case, why would he send people to save them? I'm talking about the other Junior Valley Master. Yuni pointed at Sima Yoyue, who was currently commanding the crowd to loot the spoils of war. She's your Junior Valley Master? The beautiful lady's red lips parted slightly in shock, and it was extremely alluring. She had seen her battle just now, and she was indeed rather powerful. But when did the Divine Devil Valley have another Junior Valley Master? Especially with this kind of behavior. Hey, you guys hurry up and loot their interspatial rings. These are our spoils of war, we can't just leave them here. Aya, this guy has a big background. There are so many treasures here. Fatty, what are you dawdling over there for? Don't let me find out that you're pocketing things. Sigh, I should have been gentler when I hit him just now. Such a good spirit weapon was destroyed by me just like that. This guy is really too weak. Oh, my treasure. The beautiful lady looked at Sima Yoyue's unrestrained roguish aura, and looked at Yuni suspiciously. The meaning in her eyes was obvious. Is this really your Junior Valley Master? Chapter 370. Cough, cough. Yuni felt a little awkward when he saw Sima Yoyue's expression. He had seen her like this when he saved them previously. However, he still nodded and said, that's right. She is a disciple that the Second Valley Lord recently accepted. She obtained the recognition of the Blood Ring, so even though she hasn't gone to the Primordial Lands yet, she is still our Junior Valley Master. The beauty widened her eyes and said, she's not from the Primordial Lands? No. Yuni looked at Sima Yoyue. Not only was she not from the top, she was from the worst continent. However, it was this kind of person that made him accept her wholeheartedly. He was willing to treat her as the Junior Valley Master. The beautiful woman saw Yuni's attitude and knew that Sima Yoyue was not simple. Everyone in the upper realm knew that although Yuni came from the restless continent, he was the direct disciple of an elder and had great talent. He was highly valued by the Two-Valley Lord of the Divine Devil Valley. Although he was usually undisciplined, he was actually very arrogant. However, the way he looked at Sima Yuyue was filled with admiration and respect. If she hadn't been good at observation, she definitely wouldn't have been able to tell. Since that's the case, I'll go and thank her. I hope you can be a guide. The beauty smiled. All right. I like to serve beautiful women. Yuni smiled lazily and took her to Sima Yuyue. Junior Valley Master, this is Xiaoya of the Moonbow sect. She is Granny Win's favorite disciple. Yuni said to Sima Yuyue, then pointed at Sima Yuyue and said, this is our Junior Valley Master, Sima Yuyue. Yuni, didn't I tell you not to call me Junior Valley Master? Come to think of it, I'm much younger than you. Sima Yuyue said, why do I feel old when you call me that? Just call me Yuyue. Hee, this rule can't be abolished. When you go up there, people who are hundreds or thousands of years older than you will call you that. You have to get used to it in advance. Yuni said. Although he didn't want to admit it, he liked to see Sima Yuyue's slightly raised eyebrows. Thank you, young Master Sima, for saving us. Xiaoya cupped her fists towards Sima Yuyue and thanked him with a smile. Miss Xiaoya, there's no need to be so polite. Didn't you see how happy those guys were when they saved the beauty? They need this kind of opportunity to express themselves. Sima Yuyue waved her hand. When the people who were collecting the loot heard Sima Yuyue's words, they couldn't help but twitch their lips and say, Junior Valley Master, we have always been serious. You were the one who said that, okay? What excited, what couldn't wait to be the hero to save the beauty, these were all her words. They were actually very serious from the start to the end. Even when it came to collecting the loot, they were extremely unwilling. Xiaoya covered her mouth and laughed. Their Moonbow clan and Divine Devil Valley had some relations, so the two sects would occasionally interact with each other. It wasn't that she didn't know how the people from Divine Devil Valley were like in the past. Although they seemed a little indecent at times, they weren't as exaggerated as Sima Yuyue said. No matter what, I still have to thank you. If you didn't rush over, I'm afraid that we would really. Speaking of this, Xiaoya was a little angry. The people from Cloud Cave seem to have put in a lot of effort to get rid of us here. Looking at Zhong Quan just now, it seems like he isn't afraid of us finding out. Looks like they have something to rely on. Right, didn't Zhong Quan say that Zhong Hai brought people to kill you? How did you? At that time, our situation was similar to yours. In fact, it was even more dangerous than yours. It was the Junior Valley Master who brought his contracted beasts to save us. Yuni said as she looked at Sima Yuyue gratefully. She alone was able to save all of them? Xiaoya was surprised, but she didn't show it on her face. Is your Moonbow clan also a large power in the upper levels? Sima Yuyue asked. She wasn't very clear about the distribution of power in the upper levels, so she wasn't clear about the relationships between the powers in the upper levels. In the past, she only knew that the Sage Pavilion seemed to be very powerful. Later on, she found out that the Divine Devil Valley was also very powerful. But it seemed like there were many powerful powers in the upper levels. The Moonbow clan is on the same level as the Divine Devil Valley. Yuni said. Then what about Cloud Cave? Although Cloud Cave is on the same level as us, they are considered to be at the bottom. Usually, they don't dare to fight with us. This time, I'm afraid that they have something to rely on. Xiaoya said, from what I know, other than us, there are others who are being hunted down. Especially since a holy sun from the Sage Pavilion has come down. Right now, I'm afraid that we can only avoid them. Hopefully, we can wait until the passage opens again. There's no need to avoid them. Yuni said. Yuni, the opponent has a sacred beast. Even if we have more people, we won't be a match for them. Xiaoya said. They have a sacred beast, so do we. Yuni said, when the time comes, it's hard to say who will be stronger. You have a sacred beast too? Really? Xiaoya was a little suspicious. She had never heard that Yuni had a sacred beast. It's the Junior Valley Master's contracted beast. Yuni replied, at that time, he brought a sacred beast to save us. Xiaoya was even more surprised. How could someone from the lower realms have a sacred beast as a contracted beast? Could it be that old man devil found it for her? But that couldn't be the case. The people above usually wouldn't give their disciples contracted beasts that were much stronger than them, because it would be easy for the contracted beast to attack them. Their attention was all on this, but Sima Yoyue's attention was wandering back and forth between the two of them. In the end, the two of them were a little embarrassed and asked, Junior Valley Master, what's the matter? Sima Yoyue's gaze turned away from Guo Pei Pei, who was a little disappointed, and said, it's nothing. I'm just a little curious. Didn't you say that the people above are very powerful? Why are there so many people below the divine rank? There are quite a few people from your big sects who came down. What about the others? Although our numbers aren't small, we occupy a smaller portion than the others. Xiaoya explained, for example, in a small sect, out of 10 to 20,000 people, there would only be a few hundred people below the divine rank. That's not even a tenth of the total. For bigger sects like ours, they pay more attention to the talents of the future generation and take in more people. That's why there are more people below the divine rank. Moreover, there are many people above, so even if the ratio is smaller, there are still more people below the divine rank. Yuni added. So it's like that. Sima Yuyue nodded. At the same time, she thought about the population growth in China in her previous life. Although the growth rate was smaller compared to foreigners, there were 1.3 billion people there. So what if the ratio was small, the growth rate was still much higher than other countries? It seemed like this was the same logic. At this moment, Fatty Chu walked over and said, Yuyue, we're done packing. What are we doing at the back? Chapter 371. Just as Sima Yu was leading her men to fight back, Sima Yulin and the others also ended their seclusion. Sima Yulin was the first to come out of seclusion. In the span of 9 months, he had risen by 3 ranks, becoming a 4th-ranked spirit saint. Sima Yulan had also risen quite a bit, but she was still a distance away from the 4th rank. Sima Yuyang had just become a 3rd-rank spirit saint. The rest of the Sima family also entered the Spirit Emperor stage one after another. When all the spiritual qi liquid in the cave had been absorbed, they opened their eyes one after another. Who would have thought that all the spiritual liquid here would have been completely absorbed by us? Sima Yuqing sighed. Not bad, everyone's strength has increased quite a bit. Sima Yuyang said with a smile. We've all advanced to the rank of Spirit Saint. Sima Yuming and the others were very happy as well. This was a huge gain for them. After asking the contract beasts, they found out that they had been in seclusion for nearly 10 months. 10 months. Sima Yulin furrowed his eyebrows. I didn't think that we would spend so much time in seclusion. Now that we only have 2 months left, we have to look for Yu and the others. Hey, there's a set of white bones over there. Sima Yuqi cried out. Everyone followed his gaze. In the deepest part of the cave, there was a set of white bones lying in the remaining spiritual energy liquid. Because they had absorbed most of the spiritual energy, this set of white bones was exposed. Is this the person who set up the formation back then? They walked over curiously. This person definitely did not leave before the little realm closed for some reason, and finally died of old age here. Sima Yuqing guessed. I don't think so. Sima Yuran said, if he died of old age, he wouldn't set up such a complicated array nearby. The spiritual energy seems to have all come here. Sima Yuyang said. Everyone sensed their surroundings and found that it was indeed as he said. All the spiritual qi in this place had come here. What is it about this place that attracts all this spiritual qi? Sima Yuqing was extremely curious. It can't be that this skeleton can attract all this spiritual qi, right? Nonsense. How is that possible? Sima Yuyang knocked her on the head. Looks like we found a treasure this time, Sima Yulin said as he walked towards the skeleton. He carefully picked up the tattered clothes, and a pearl the size of a fist appeared in front of everyone. What is this thing? Sima Yuming asked what everyone was thinking. I don't know, but the spiritual qi liquid here should be related to this, Sima Yulin said. Looks like this bead has the ability to attract spiritual qi. If I use this bead to cultivate, I will definitely be able to achieve twice the results with half the effort, Sima Yuran said. Hee, once we get out, we'll let our clansmen use this to cultivate. Our clansmen will definitely be stronger than the other clansmen, Sima Yuyang said. We'll keep it for now. We'll give it to Patriarch when we get out, Sima Yulin said. We'll go look for Yu and the others now. All right. Yulin, quickly take a look at how far away Yu and the others are from us, Sima Yuqing urged. Sima Yulin took out the jade stone. The two blood-red dots were rather small, indicating that the two of them were rather far away. Looks like we'll have to fly if we want to find them, Sima Yuyang said. It's a good thing that we have many flying beasts, and they're not slow either. If we travel day and night, it shouldn't take too much time, Sima Yuming said. Then let's go look for them now. Wait. Sima Yulin called out to stop them. What's wrong, Yulin? Everyone looked at him, and he waved his hands at them. After that, he bowed deeply to the white bone, saying, Many thanks to this senior for giving us this opportunity. We have no way of repaying you, but we will bury you in peace. When he did this, the others followed suit and bowed. Sima Yulin stood up and led everyone out. However, he did not bury the white bone in peace. Yulin? Sima Yuqing looked at Sima Yulin. Sima Yulin did not say anything. Instead, he went outside and began to break the array, collecting all the borrowed spirit stones. Once he had completely broken the array, everyone felt that the faint mist that had enveloped the mountain peak had disappeared. They stood in front of the mountain, and Sima Yulin bowed once again. After that, he condensed his spiritual qi and attacked the mountain peak. After a few continuous attacks, the entire mountain peak collapsed. The mound that rose up was like a huge tomb. Let's go. He called out his flying beast and led the others towards Sima Yu's direction. Tens of thousands of miles away, Sima Yu was leading the Divine Devil Valley's men to battle with a group of people. Those people were merely the followers of Cloud Cave and Sage Pavilion, but their numbers were not small. The result of the battle was not surprising. However, Sima Yu and the others found out an even more shocking news from the mouths of the other party. Sage Pavilion and Cloud Cave knew that the Divine Devil Valley's men had begun to counterattack. They had roped in a few people, and they were not weak. They had gathered at least tens of thousands of people to deal with them. Sima Yu pursed her lips when she heard this. She sighed, the ancients were right. This world lacks everything, but it does not lack people. Hearing her sigh, Yun-Yi and the others laughed, saying, This time, many people from different continents have come in. Every 100,000, there will be 80,000. They have gathered tens of thousands, so it's not too exaggerated. Then why don't we have so many people? Sima Yu looked at their camp. Other than the Yun clan, Gua clan, Divine Devil Valley and Moonbow clan, there were only a few people from the Yi-Lin continent left. There are many reasons. Shen Rao said, the Sage Pavilion is different from other powers. They have many pavilions in different continents, and their positions are very high. Those people from different continents usually submit to the Sage Pavilion's power. Now that the Sage Pavilion has gathered their forces, those who understand the Sage Pavilion will naturally follow them. Furthermore, the news of the Sage Pavilion having a sacred beast has already spread throughout the little realm. Everyone knows that having a sacred beast is basically a foregone conclusion. The Sage Pavilion and Cloud Cave's gathering of people is just icing on the cake. They just want to show their faces, Yun Feng said. Sigh, everyone knows how to develop their forces below. Why do you all only care about your little plot of land above? Sima Yu sighed. This might have something to do with the mental cultivation method that they cultivate in the later stages. Xiaoya said, I once heard Master say that the Sage Pavilion's mental cultivation method seems to be able to use the power of belief to advance. The more believers they have, the more power they will gain. That's why they need to continuously develop the people below. Since the Sage Pavilion and Divine Devil Valley are not on good terms, then how did Senior Brother become a holy son? Sima Yu did not understand. Furthermore, it seemed that he was not an ordinary holy son. It seemed that his position in the Sage Pavilion was rather high. Yini shook her head, saying, We're not sure about this either. I heard that the Sage Pavilion's Pavilion Master personally came to the Divine Devil Valley to pick him up. Chapter 372. Sima Yoyue's heart skipped a beat. It was actually the Sage Pavilion's Pavilion Master who personally went to fetch her? The relationship between the Divine Devil Valley and the Sage Pavilion wasn't that good, so why did the Pavilion Master want to keep Wu Lingyu by his side? He even made him the holy son of the Sage Pavilion, a position that was even higher than the Pavilion Master of a normal pavilion. In particular, he had personally gone to pick up Wu Lingyu, which showed how much he valued him. For some reason, she felt that there was something fishy going on. But now that he couldn't think of anything, he simply suppressed this question in his heart. The members of the Moonbow clan have rested enough. Let's continue on our way. Sima Yue said. Should we continue walking in the same direction? Fatty Chu asked. Sima Yue took out the jade and looked at it. She realized that the red dot was actually moving. She said, Let's go and pick up Big Brother and the rest first. We'll talk about it after we've picked them up. They've come out? Sima Yulu asked. Earlier on, they had taken out jade stones to observe the other party's movements, but Sima Yulin and the others had not moved at all. That was why they guessed that they were in closed-door cultivation. Yes, they are moving. Sima Yue nodded. Let's go and pick them up. The group of them changed their direction slightly and flew towards where Sima Yulin and the others were. On the other side, the few of them traveled day and night. A few days later, when Sima Yulin took out the jade stone, Sima Yu was already not far from them. Yu and the others are rushing towards us. Sima Yang said. Then it won't be long before we meet. Sima Yuqing said, I wonder how many months have passed. Yu and the others have changed. I don't know if they have the same luck as us. Sima Yuming said. My intuition tells me that Yu will continue to leave us a few streets behind. Sima Yang said. You'll know when you see him. Sima Yulin didn't try to guess, but he also felt that Sima Yu must have met with some kind of opportunity. After all, her luck was so good. After a few more days passed, the two parties finally met. When the Divine Devil Valley and the Moonbow clan saw Sima Yu and the others, they were curious as to why Sima Yu had traveled so far to receive them. When they were flying here, they didn't know that Sima Yu was going to pick someone up. They thought that they had found people from the Cloud Cave. They only found out about Sima Yu's motive when they contacted each other just now. Fifth brother. Yue. Big brother. When the two groups of people met, both sides had things they wanted to say to each other. And so, Sima Yue threw the people from the Divine Devil Valley and the Moonbow clan to one side, and the group of people went to the side to meet up. You've advanced to Spirit Paragon. Sima Yulin looked at Sima Yu and said with certainty. You've also risen to level 4 Spirit Emperor. Sima Yue said. What, you've actually advanced to Spirit Paragon? Weren't you just a level 5 Spirit Saint? Sima Yu cried out in shock, and drew the attention of the people nearby. The people from the Divine Devil Valley already knew about this, but they were still shocked when they heard it again. The people from the Moonbow clan were not calm at all. They asked the people from the Divine Devil Valley whether it was true or not. When they received a positive answer, the beautiful ladies and handsome men were stunned. Their surprise was not limited to this. Their attention involuntarily drifted to the other side. From Sima Yulin and the others' conversation, they found out that the few of them had all grown by 2 to 3 ranks in the past 10 months. This kind of talent was extremely rare in the higher realms, but that group of people were all like this. As expected, those who are with the Junior Valley Master are not ordinary people. Shen Rao's mouth twitched, and he was not calm at all. The others nodded their heads in agreement. Sima Yuyue did not care about their reactions, and asked Sima Yulin about what happened after they separated. She found out that they had found a place similar to the Snow Wolf clan's place to cultivate, and had been in closed-door cultivation until recently. Only then did she heave a sigh of relief. After that, she told them about what had happened, and even told them about the current situation. It's a good thing you didn't meet those people. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to answer to the old fox and the others. She said. Although we didn't meet them directly, we saw 2 groups of people fighting from afar. I don't know if it's the people you're talking about. Sima Yuyang said. At that time, they had sensed danger in front of them, so they did not go over. Instead, they hid at the side and watched. Sima Yuyue asked about the characteristics of those people, then called Yuni and the others over. Once they asked, they found out that they were from the Cloud Cave and another sect above. It was just that they were from a smaller sect. Looks like the Cloud Cave is not just targeting us this time. They are also hunting down people from smaller sections. Xiao Ye's expression was serious. They are so fearless. I think they have something else to rely on other than the Sage Pavilion. Could it be from the top? Shen Rao guessed. It's hard to say. The top usually doesn't interfere with the things below. It's said that there is an agreement. But we don't know what the truth is. Xiao Ye said. Top. There is a continent above the primordial lands? Sima Yuyue asked. No. Shen Rao said. This is a division of the upper regions. The top is what we call the other regions. Actually, we are all in the same continent. Oh. Sima Yuyue said. This division is also based on strength, right? Yes, the region we are in is divided into the outer region, central region and inner region. The outer region is where the ordinary forces gather. We are in the central region. The upper region we are talking about is the inner region. Xiao Ye explained. Sima Yuyue caught the point in her words. The region they were in meant that there might be other regions. She really wanted to say, damn it, how big was this world? But she didn't ask this. Otherwise, it might hurt everyone's confidence. There are still 2 months before we leave. We have to make good use of these 2 months. We have to make them regret touching our people. Sima Yuyue said. Then she looked at Shen Rao and the rest and said, I think you have a way to find out where those people are? Don't bother about the gathered forces. We just have to take care of the main people. Okay. Shen Rao nodded. His eyes were filled with excitement. They were finally going to fight back. In the following month, the people from Sage Pavilion and Cloud Cave would receive news from time to time that the people from Divine Devil Valley were exterminated. The people who were brought out by Sage Pavilion and Cloud Cave were all annihilated. The people from Sage Pavilion and Cloud Cave were so angry that they almost vomited blood. On this day, in a valley, a few people rushed over. Seeing the people guarding outside, they asked anxiously, Is Holy Sun Yi still not out of seclusion? Not yet. The guard said. We have already come 3 times this month. Aren't you tired? When the Holy Sun comes out, he will naturally look for you. You should leave now. Chapter 373. Although the other party's rejection was straightforward, the other party had no intention of leaving. May I know how long it will take for the Holy Sun to come out of seclusion? Another person asked anxiously. My family's Holy Sun has obtained a fortuitous encounter this time, and his strength has increased quite a bit. This time, he's trying to break through to the 9th level of Spirit Paragon. The guard said, if he succeeds, then my family's Holy Sun won't be far from the divine rank. The Holy Sun is only 80 years old, but he's already about to advance to the 9th level of Spirit Venerable. Then he'll definitely be able to advance to the divine rank before he's 100 years old. The person who came said in surprise. That's why no one can disturb him at such a crucial time. No one knows when he will successfully advance, so I say that you guys shouldn't wait here. The guard said. But, I see that you are the followers of the young cave master of the Cloud Cave. Why aren't you serving your young cave master properly? Why do you come looking for our holy son every now and then? Another guard recognized the person. He had followed the holy son to meet the young cave master before. We were called here by the young cave master. One of them said, we were originally going to exterminate the men from the Divine Devil Valley and the Moonbow clan. However, for some unknown reason, we recently received news that Zhong Hai and Zhong Quan were both killed. Furthermore, the men that they had brought with them were all wiped out. Not a single one of them returned. Oh. You're saying that not only did the Divine Devil Valley and the Moonbow clan not die, they even killed all the people they brought with them? The guard asked. They had been guarding the Holy Sun for more than a month and did not pay much attention to the outside world. They did not know that the situation outside had completely changed. Not only that, many of your Sage Pavilion's people have died as well, but most of them are from the lower realms branches. What? You actually dare to kill a member of my Sage Pavilion? That guard roared and was glared at by another guard. What if the saint was disturbed by such a loud noise? What happened? A voice suddenly cut in. Following that, a handsome man dressed in white walked out from the cave behind them and looked at them. Holy Son, you've come out? The guard saw Yi Yufan and bowed respectfully. Yes. Yi Yufan nodded and repeated his question. You said that someone killed a disciple of the Sage Pavilion. What happened? Your Highness, it's like this. The two people from the Cloud Cave told him about the recent situation and emphasized on the fact that the disciples of the Sage Pavilion were killed. Finally, they told him the purpose of their trip. Your Highness, our Junior Valley Master said that there are experts like Uni in the Divine Devil Valley. Only you can deal with them now. After Yi Yufan listened to the people of Cloud Cave, he was not flattered by their compliments, but he was still very angry about this matter, because the people of Sage Pavilion were killed. He was now the person with the highest position here, and was also the person with the strongest power. If he didn't care after killing the people of the Sage Pavilion, how could he lead the others? What's more, taking advantage of this opportunity to kill off the Divine Devil Valley and the Moonbow clan was an order given to him by his superiors, and he had to complete it. Otherwise, he would not have been given a sacred beast to form a contract with. To put it bluntly, this sacred beast was given to him to deal with the Divine Devil Valley and the Moonbow clan. Where are they now? He asked in a deep voice. We have already grasped their whereabouts. The people of Cloud Cave said. Where is your young cave master? Hundreds of thousands of kilometers away from here. Hundreds of thousands of kilometers was not very far. However, Yi Yufan did not immediately go to find the young cave master, but sent his men back to where the Sage Pavilion's main forces were, which was half a day's distance from here. Holy Son, you've come out of seclusion. Welcome back, Your Highness. Yufan, congratulations on your successful promotion. A person who was close to Yi Yufan walked over and said with a smile. Luqi, how is the situation in the Sage Pavilion now? Yi Yufan asked. Luqi looked at the thousands of tents on the plains and said, the people from the other continents, besides those who died, are all here. They have gathered their strength in other places. Many died? Yi Yufan frowned. A few hundred. Luqi's expression was very bad. Because many people have died recently, I have not allowed them to go out in this period of time. Are there many of them? Yi Yufan asked. No. It's still the same people as before, but the Divine Devil Valley and the Moonbow clan are together. There are also people from another lower continent. Luqi replied. Another continent? How many people are there? More than 10. More than 10, what's there to say? But those 10 people are all very strong, even stronger than the people from the upper continents. A few of them can fight above their level. Luchi said, and Yi Yufan saw that Luchi was hesitating, and knew that he was uncertain about what he was going to say. He said, and what? And the news that they sent back said that the people from the Divine Devil Valley called one of them Junior Valley Master. Luchi gathered his courage and said, What? Are you telling the truth? Yi Yufan looked very gentle, and even if he was very surprised, his surprise and shock was very pleasing to the eye. When I heard that, I was very shocked too. After all, the Junior Valley Master of the Divine Devil Valley had always been Ng Bai Chuan. When did he become someone from this lower continent? After that, I thought that the Divine Devil Valley had 2 Junior Valley Masters. Could this be another Junior Valley Master? Luchi guessed. It's possible. Yi Yufan agreed with this point, but he still had doubts in his heart. But when did the Divine Devil Valley have a second Junior Valley Master? And he came from the lower continents. Only the people from the Divine Devil Valley know about this. Luchi said. Let's not care about those people. There are only 2 months left. We have to kill them all before we go out. If not, it will mess up the pavilion's plans. Yi Yufan said. We already know their whereabouts. Previously, they had Yuni who was at the peak of the Spirit Paragon level. We didn't make a move until you came out. Luchi said, now I will go and gather the people from the other powers. Okay. Not far from the plains, Sima Yuyue and Yuni stood facing the wind. Buzz 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 dash, a bee flew over from afar and landed on Sima Yuyue's palm. It buzzed and said something to her. After a while, Sima Yuyue raised her hand gently and the bee flew away. Yuyue, what's the news? Gua Pei Pei asked. Sima Yuyue smiled and said, Yi Yufan has come out of seclusion. The Sage Pavilion is preparing to gather everyone to deal with us. Then let's take advantage of the fact that they haven't gathered everyone and kill them. Fatty Chu said. What's the rush? Sima Yuyue patted Fatty Chu's shoulder and said, we have to wait. Wait until they gather everyone, then we can kill them all in one go. We don't have to find them one by one. Chapter 374. Since Sima Yuyue had said so, the others had no objections. They were all interested in Sima Yuyue's scarlet bees. Junior Valley Master, the last time the Second Valley Lord came back, he boasted to the people in the valley that he had obtained many scarlet bees. He even went to other places to show off. These scarlet bees came from you, right? Shen Rao said with a smile. Master even went up to show off. Sima Yuyue pursed her lips. She did not expect the old man to have such a hobby. Isn't that so? The last time he saw someone else get a scarlet bee from who knows where, he was extremely envious. Now that he has so many, he will definitely show it off to others. Yuni said with a smile. How embarrassing. Sima Yuyue face-bombed. But other people treat their scarlet bees like treasures. Only you would use them as a tool to eavesdrop, Xiaoya said with a smile. After interacting with Sima Yuyue for a while, they were already familiar with each other and were no longer as distant as before. Alright, since they are in a hurry, let's go along with their wishes. Let's go back to rest and wait for them to come to us. Sima Yuyue stretched herself. Apparently, she was not worried about the upcoming battle. Yuyue, if we wait for them to gather all their people before we attack, they have over 10,000 people. Although everyone's strength is not weak, but we have limited numbers. If Halcyon and Yi Yufan meet, we may not be able to defeat them. After all, the difference in numbers is too great. Don't worry, there will be a lot of us. Sima Yuyue said confidently and strode towards the resting area. Seeing her like this, everyone couldn't say anything more and could only follow her back. Thus, for the next few days, everyone rested where they were, ate, drank, and slept. Being led by Fatty Chu and the others, they did not have the heart to fight. But the people from the Divine Devil Valley didn't stay idle after eating, drinking, and sleeping to their fill. Everyone started to refine pills. Pills for healing injuries and recovery of spirit chi were refined one by one. The Moonbow clan, the Yun clan, and the Guo clan all received quite a few pills as well. Of course, they also paid a certain price to show their sincerity. By the time she finished refining the pills, the other party had yet to bring his men to kill them. Sima Yu could not sit still any longer. She brought a group of people and began to search for treasures nearby. All the aged herbs were kept in her interspatial ring. Sima Yulin and the others couldn't bear to look at her when they saw how she wouldn't let a single herb go. If they didn't know that there were so many medicinal herbs in the Spirit Pagoda, they would really be like the people from the Divine Devil Valley, thinking that she was a pauper who lacked medicinal herbs. After sweeping through the surroundings, Sima Yue and the others finally saw the people from the Sage Pavilion. Yi Yufan had brought tens of thousands of people with him. It seemed like he knew that the people from the Divine Devil Valley were here. Sima Yue and the rest had already found out about these people's strength and plans through the Scarlet Bee's communication. The other party knew that they were all here, and in order to be safe, they decided to gang up on them and kill them. The news of the enemy's invasion spread quickly, and everyone was ready to fight. Luqi followed beside Yi Yufan and saw a group of people standing on the plains. He frowned and said, "Yufan, why do I feel like something is wrong? They look like they're waiting for us. I feel like it's strange that they didn't panic at all when they saw us with so many people. They didn't even think of escaping." The young master of Cloud Cave said. "It does look strange." Yi Yufan thought so too. But now they couldn't think too much. Since they had brought people here, they couldn't bring them back. Moreover, in the eyes of most people, the other party only had a few hundred people. Compared to the tens of thousands of people on their side, this number was nothing. What's more, they had a sacred beast on their side. As long as a sacred beast appeared, it didn't matter if the other party had a few hundred or a few thousand people. "Senior, the other party has a lot of people. Can we hold on?" Don't look at how the people from the Divine Devil Valley were fearlessly waiting for the people from the Sage Pavilion and Cloud Cave to come. In fact, they were all very afraid. Although Sima Yue also had a sacred beast, but if they were to fight with the sacred beast, how could they control them? In other words, they had a few hundred people to fight against tens of thousands of people? What's there to be afraid of? If the Junior Valley Master says there's no problem, then there's definitely no problem. Shen Rao trusted Sima Yue very much. After this period of time, he realized that Sima Yue wasn't someone who would joke about her own life and the lives of others. So if she said there would be no problem, then there wouldn't be a problem. Thinking about this, he was stunned. When did he start to trust the Junior Valley Master so much? And that trust came from the bottom of his heart. It's them. The Zhan family members who were not far from Yi Yufan shouted when they saw Sima Yue. "You know them?" Luqi asked. "I've seen them before." The Zhan family member said, "The man in the blue robe in the middle also has a sacred beast. And I heard Yuni call him the Junior Valley Master." "That's him?" Yi Yufan narrowed his eyes as he looked at Sima Yue. He didn't think that he would meet someone who also had a sacred beast here. No wonder these people dare to be so fearless. Luqi said. "No matter what sacred beast it is, we have to kill them today." Yi Yufan said, "In a while, I'll let my contracted beast get rid of the sacred beast. You guys take the opportunity to kill everyone here." Although Yi Yufan looked very gentle, but when he said this, the ruthlessness in his eyes was very different from the image that the Sage Pavilion gave people. The two sides met in the air, and for a moment, no one spoke. After a long time, Yi Yufan spoke first. "I heard that you also have a sacred beast. No wonder you dared to wait for us here." Yi Yufan looked at Sima Yue, and realized that this guy was younger than he thought. "You flatter me." Sima Yue smiled confidently. "I heard that you also have a sacred beast. No wonder you dared to come even though you knew that we were waiting for you. Then we'll have to see how much difference there is between them." Yi Yufan said, "But no matter what, we have the power to kill all of you in this period of time." Today, the Holy Sun is here. You should know what's good for you and kill yourselves. Otherwise, we'll kill you until you lose an arm or a leg. The Cloud Cave's young master flattered Yi Fan confidently. I'll return the same words to you. If you don't want to be torn to pieces, then kill yourselves obediently. Sima Yue said. Huh, what a joke. You only have a few hundred people, and you want to tear us to pieces? The Sage Pavilion's people all roared with laughter. Who said we were going to fight you personally? Sima Yue said faintly. Chapter 375. Her words not only stunned the other party, but also the people on her side. If it wasn't them, could it be that there was someone else? But they didn't see anyone else coming. Ha ha ha. The young master of the Cloud Cave raised his head and laughed, as if he had never seen such a foolish person before. I heard that you are the Junior Valley Master of the Divine Devil Valley. I was wondering if this Junior Valley Master was similar to Ying Bai Chuan, but I didn't expect him to be a fool. If your people don't attack, are you going to conjure people out of thin air to fight us? Ha ha ha. The people behind him laughed, as if she was really a fool. You're the idiot. Sima Yue rolled her eyes at them. Don't you see the two beast kings beside me? So what if you have a beast king? Don't think we don't know that their tribe is very far from here. I'm afraid you can't even summon them over. The Zhan family knew that the Snow Wolf tribe's tribe was very far from here. Don't waste time talking to them. Let's end this quickly, Yi Fan said as he summoned his contracted beast. It was a two-headed python. Although it was a second-rank sacred beast, it had yet to transform into a human form. Chongming, go and play with them. Sima Yue said. Okay. Chongming nodded, then flew into the air and transformed into his body, fighting the two-headed python in the air. Metamorphosis Sacred Beast. The people from the Sage Pavilion and Cloud Cave were very surprised. Previously, when Chongming was by her side, not a single one of them realized that it was a sacred beast. The other party is stronger than the two-headed python and is also its natural enemy. It seems that we can only delay it for a while. We must kill that man as soon as possible. Come at me together, Yi Fan ordered. Yes, Your Highness, we will definitely get rid of them as soon as possible. Everyone expressed their determination. Although they felt that it was a bit exaggerated to have tens of thousands of people fight against hundreds of people, they still prepared to attack together. Junior Valley Master, what should we do? Seeing that the other party was about to take action, the people from Divine Devil Valley felt a little guilty. What's the hurry? Let's just watch from here. My friends, come out. With a thought from Sima Yue, spirit beasts appeared in front of everyone like magic, forming a semicircle, surrounding the people from the Sage Pavilion. So many spirit beasts. Damn, there are at least tens of thousands of them, right? Heavens, why are there suddenly so many spirit beasts? And they are all divine beasts. There are also many level 5 divine beasts and above. Sima Yue ignored the shock on both sides and said, "This is the first thing I want you to do. Didn't you say that you haven't fought for a long time? Go, it's best if none of those people are left." A woo, roar. Rong He Gong Yen let out a long roar and led his people to attack the enemy. The Sage Pavilion and Cloud Cave, as well as the people who had gathered, were already stunned when they saw so many divine beasts. Before they could react, the two beast kings had already brought people to attack. Many people were directly torn into two halves and fell to the ground. Some people reacted, but the spirit beasts had already flown in front of them. Their physical bodies could not compare to the claws of the spirit beasts, and many people fell to the ground with injuries. The Snow Wolf clan was not as good at flying as the saber-toothed tigers, so many of the Snow Wolf clan landed on the ground and chased after the injured people. The people from Divine Devil Valley and Moonbow clan stared with wide eyes at the scene in front of them. They had thought that there would be a huge battle, but they had only stood there and watched from the beginning. No wonder she was so confident. So this was her trump card. At the same time, everyone looked at Sima Yuyue with resentment. The Junior Valley Master was really too much. He obviously had such a huge trump card, but he didn't tell them in advance, causing them to be so worried. In less than half an hour, the tens of thousands of people were all killed. Even the Holy Sun and the young cave master did not last long. This was a massacre without any suspense. Yuyue, we've killed them all. Gong Yan and Rongyu reported. Sima Yuyue pursed her lips. These guys had not only been killed, they had been torn to shreds. These tens of thousands of people had all died without a complete corpse. They had either been torn into two halves, missing an arm or a leg, or even decapitated. Over 10,000 corpses like this, it was really disgusting. With a wave of her hand, she kept all the spirit beasts into her spirit pagoda. This time, she even kept the two beast kings. Boom, before they could say anything, a thunderous boom rang out in the sky, and an incomparably terrifying aura pressed down on them. What's going on? Everyone raised their heads to look. A vortex had appeared in the sky, and that vortex was quickly converging, slowly forming a passageway. Could it be that the battle just now caused the passageway to open earlier? Yuni said in shock. Why are there two passageways? Isn't the passageway outside where we came from? Guofu cried out. The other place is also the primordial lands. Shen Rao said. Looks like this is our passageway back. Xiaoya said. Why isn't there a passageway to the Yilin continent? Someone cried out. It was only then that everyone realized that there was no passageway to the Yilin continent. They looked at Sima Yuyue and the others strangely. We didn't come in through the normal passageway in the first place. Sima Yuyue said as she took out the compass and inserted her spirit energy. That compass flew into the sky, and just as it formed a passageway, it fell down. This caused her expression to change. What's wrong? Seeing that her expression was not right, everyone was in a hurry to leave. It could be that the battle between Chongming and the sacred beasts just now affected the space here. This compass can't be used. Sima Yuyue said, the passageway to the Yilin continent can't be opened. Then what do we do? Sima Yuqing said worriedly. Sima Yuyue looked at the passageway above her head and said, the only way is to try these two passageways. I don't know if we'll be able to pass. We can only try. Since this is the case, Junior Valley Master, you should follow us back to the valley. Shen Rao said. Although Sima Yuyue did not think of going there so early, she had no choice now. But when they flew towards the exit, the Divine Devil Valley and the others easily entered. However, Sima Yuyue and the others were blocked outside. Looks like we won't be able to go to the primordial lands. Sima Yuyue said. Then let's try going to our side. Guo Pei said. I'll try first. Sima Yulin said as he flew up. He entered without meeting any obstacles. Looks like it'll work. I'll chase after him. Yun Feng said as he entered. Shen Rao, you should go back. When you go back, get someone to go to the Yilin continent and tell my grandfather and the others that we're safe. We'll think of a way to go back. Sima Yuyue said. Junior Valley Master, don't worry. We'll definitely do it. Shen Rao promised. Everyone, let's go. The passageway is about to close. Everyone raised their heads and saw that the passageway was indeed fading. A group of people quickly flew in. Sima Yuyue led everyone and followed the Guo clan into the passageway to the restless continent. The Yun clan followed behind them. The passageway closed after everyone entered. Chapter 376. Sima Yuyue felt as though her entire body was being torn apart. She was sure that the others were not feeling too well either. It seemed that the passageway wasn't that stable. Bang, 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 the sound of water splashing could be heard as the group was thrown into a lake. Cough, cough, Sima Yuyue came out of the water and wiped the water off her body. She could not help but curse. He was thrown into the water when he went in, and he was thrown into the water when he came out. Is everyone all right? Guapepe popped out and asked the people around her. I'm fine. Let's go to the shore, Sima Yuyue said. Fortunately, they were not far from the shore and soon swam to the shore. Why are there fewer people? Wei Ziqi saw that there were not enough people, especially those from the Yun family. There were only 2 or 3 people with them. This passageway is moving. If the time difference is too long, it will appear in different places. Guapepe's impressive figure became even more prominent because of her wet clothes. She quickly used her spiritual energy to evaporate the water on her body and return to her normal appearance. Yulin and Yunfeng aren't here either, Fatty Chu said. Don't worry, Yunfeng knew that Yulin would be teleported somewhere else, that's why he chased after him. They haven't been separated for long, so they should have been sent to the same place, Guapepe said. Is this the restless continent? As expected, the spiritual qi here is much denser than where we are. Sima Yuqing sensed it and her eyes were filled with envy. That's right, it's no wonder the people here are generally stronger than us, Sima Yuyang said. Yu, we're going home now. Why don't you come with us? Guapepe said. You saved us. We'll repay you. Do you know how to get to the Yilin continent? Sima Yuyue asked. We don't know, but I think the old ancestor and the others might know, Guapepe said. We're not familiar with this place, so we can only trouble you guys, Sima Yuyue said. What about you, Yulin? Sima Yulan asked. The Yun family and our Gua family are not far from each other. I think that if Yunfeng did not bring him back to the Yun family, he would have sent him to our family, Guapepe said. Moreover, I think that he would have guessed that you were at our place and would come looking for you. If he doesn't come after a long time, we'll go look for him. Sima Yu took out the jade stone and looked at it. Sima Yulin was really far away from her. We can find our way back before he returns. Then let's go. We're still quite far from the city, Guapepe said. Everyone sat on the flying beasts and flew for 2 days before they saw a city, which showed how big the restless continent was. They went to the Spirit Master Guild and used the teleportation array to go to another medium-sized city. Then, they went to the city where the Gua family was located. Sima Yuyue started vomiting as soon as she stepped out of the teleportation portal, which shocked the Gua family. Guafu laughed and teased her. Not at all. You're so strong, and you're also an array master, but you fainted in this teleportation array. Sima Yuyue waved her hand, looking like she was suffering unspeakably. The teleportation array here was much better than the one in the Yilin continent, but because it was so far away, she still felt terrible. Sima Yuqing patted her on the back, saying, the first time I saw her, we used the teleportation array as well. At that time, I was so happy to see her faint. Looks like we can only stay in the city today. Guapepe saw Sima Yuyue in this state and brought them to the inn that the Gua family opened in the city. The innkeeper saw that Guapepe and the others had returned and immediately came out from behind the counter. He bowed and said, Young miss, didn't you go to the Little Realm? Why are you back before it's time? Something happened, so the portal opened early. Guapepe said, Go and prepare some rooms. We'll be resting here today. Yes, young Mississippi, the innkeeper quickly prepared the rooms. He gave the key to the best room to Guapepe, but Guapepe turned around and handed it to Sima Yuran and the others who were supporting Sima Yuyue. You can take her to rest first, Guapepe said. Okay. Sima Yuran took the key and brought Sima Yuyue to rest according to the room number on the key. The others followed the waiter to the backyard, leaving Guapepe and the innkeeper behind to give some instructions. Young miss, who is that? The innkeeper asked curiously. That was the sky room. Normally, it was not open to the public. Only the young master and young mistress of the Gua family could stay there. However, Guapepe had given it to that sickly person. This made him very curious about that person. He is the benefactor of our Gua family. If not for him, our Gua family would not have been able to make it out alive. Gua Pepe said, furthermore, his status is extremely high. Get people to take care of him carefully. Do you understand? Gua Pepe instructed. Yes, young Mississippi, the innkeeper replied. Gua Pepe called Gua Fu over, saying, hurry back to the clan first. Tell my father about what happened in the little realm. Tell him to be wary of the Jean family. I'll wait for you to get better before bringing them back. Yes, big sister. Gua Fu did not delay at all. She brought Gua Liang and the others and left. Although the Gua family was said to be the biggest family here, their main house was not in the city. Instead, it was in the outskirts of the city. After leaving the city, it was half a day's journey by flying beast. Just as Sima Yue and the rest arrived at the restless continent, the people from the primordial lands were also returning. Unlike other continents, the primordial lands' passageways were fixed. Although the locations of the little realms were different, there was only one exit. Some of the Sex people were already waiting outside. They were prepared to bring their own people back. After all, they were people below the divine rank. If they met with any trouble on the way back, they would just play around. It's open. Someone said. Everyone saw a spatial passageway slowly opening on the mountain peak. Disciples came out one after another. When they saw their own sex, they hurried over to avoid being killed by accident. They also told their sects about their encounters inside. The people from the Cloud Cave and the Divine Devil Valley were not far from each other. The people from the Cloud Cave glanced over and said faintly, many people die every time they enter this little realm. Xing Cheng, do you think all the people from the Divine Devil Valley died in there? Xing Cheng was the leader of the Divine Devil Valley. Hearing the provocation from the Cloud Cave, he raised his eyebrows and said, you're right. Maybe all the people from the Cloud Cave died. When that time comes, we will definitely feel sorry for you. Who knows who will die in there? The person from the Cloud Cave did not say anything else. If he said too much, he might give himself away. Time passed slowly. A few thousand people came out. However, there were no people from the Divine Devil Valley or the Moonbow clan. When the people from the two sects saw the smiles on the faces of the Cloud Cave, they seemed to have guessed something. Chapter 377. Was it really like what the people of the Cloud Cave said, that all of their people had died inside? Judging from the Cloud Cave people's expressions, they seemed to be very sure that their people had come out. Xing Cheng, do you think they did something? As far as I know, quite a few of them have entered. The leader of the Moonbow clan said to Xing Cheng. Xing Cheng looked at those people unhappily and said, if they really dare to do anything, the Divine Devil Valley will not let them off. The tunnel is about to close. The members of the Moonbow clan said worriedly as they watched the tunnel fade. Those who wanted to come out should have already come out. Other than us, the people from Cloud Cave and Sage Pavilion have not come out. Xing Cheng said. Could it be that something happened this time? The members of the Moonbow clan were all very worried. I hope not. Not only were the members of the Divine Devil Valley and the Moonbow clan worried, even the members of the Sage Pavilion and the White Cloud Cave were worried, because none of their members had come out. Could it be that something really happened? But that wasn't right. The two sects combined had far more people than the demonic god sect and the Moonbow clan. Yi Yufan also had a sacred beast. Logically speaking, there shouldn't be any accidents. However, there were always so many accidents, and this accident caused them to suffer heavy losses. The tunnel is about to disappear. Someone is coming out. Someone shouted, and everyone turned to look at the entrance of the passage. This was especially true for the Divine Devil Valley, Moonbow clan, Cloud Cave, and Sage Pavilion, who had yet to receive anyone. They stared at the exit so hard that their eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Yini led the members of the Divine Devil Valley and the Moonbow clan out of the tunnel just as it was about to close. The people from the Divine Devil Valley and the Moonbow clan were extremely happy, while the people from the Sage Pavilion and the White Cloud Cave were extremely shocked and furious. They said that they were going to deal with the Divine Devil Valley's people. Now that they had come out and their own people hadn't come out, this meant that their own people had been killed by them. Aya, what you said just now was right. There really are people inside who can't come out. Fortunately, it's not our people. Sing Ching said with a big laugh. Greetings to the 10th Elder of the Outer Valley. Yini brought everyone to the Divine Devil Valley's position and greeted Sing Ching. You guys came out so late, you really worried us to death. Sing Ching said as he patted their shoulders. Granny Cloud. Xiaoya led her people in greeting towards the Moonbow clan members. Are you guys okay? Why did you come out so late? Granny Yun looked at Xiaoya and the others lovingly. Yes, I was delayed by something. Xiaoya said. Is it because you didn't know that the passage would open in advance, so you didn't have time to come out? Granny Yun asked. No, it's something else, said Xiaoya. How could that be? Why didn't any of our men come out? Cloud Cave's people said in disbelief, seeing the Divine Devil Valley's people reporting their safety. They said angrily, Did you kill all of our people? It must be you. Yini glanced at him indifferently and said, The little world is so big, and there are so many people inside. You're sure that we killed your people, but do you know that your people will definitely find us? I heard that the number of people from your Cloud Cave is 3 times more than ours. What, are they looking for trouble inside? Sing Tai stared at the people of Cloud Cave and said. Whether there is or not, I think the people of Cloud Cave should know. Yuni said. Humph. Let's go back. Cloud Cave's people shouted at the people behind them, and leaped away. Although the people from the Sage Pavilion didn't say anything, they saw that the people from the Divine Devil Valley were not looking good, and left after looking at them. The people from the other powers left after receiving their own people. Now that the passage was completely closed, even if there were people inside, they couldn't come out, and so they all left. When only the people from the Divine Devil Valley and the Moonbow clan were left, Tsing Ching stopped smiling and asked, What happened? We were attacked by the Cloud Cave and the Sage Pavilion together, and we lost a portion of our people. Yuni said. And the Sage Pavilion gave Yi Yufan a sacred beast, and we were almost completely wiped out. Xiaoya added. Sacred beast? Everyone was shocked. Only people below the divine rank were allowed to enter. If there really was a sacred beast, how did they survive? I didn't think that the Sage Pavilion would dare to do such a thing. Granny Yun said hatefully. Do they really think that they are strong just because they have more people? Cloud Cave as well, if they really want to fight, my Moonbow clan will not be bullied. Compared to Granny Yun's anger, Tsing Cheng was more rational. He said, Since they have more people than you, and they have a sacred beast, how did you all escape? Why didn't any of them come out? It's all thanks to the Junior Valley Master. If not for him, the ones who came out now would be the people from the Sage Pavilion and Cloud Cave. Yuni said. Junior Valley Master? Ingbai Chuan? Wasn't he not allowed to enter? Granny Yun, it wasn't Ingbai Chuan, it was another Junior Valley Master. Xiaoya said. Could it be, the second Valley Lord's disciple? Seng Qing said. That's right. She was the one who saved us first, and then killed the Sage Pavilion and Cloud Cave's other forces that they had gathered. How did you meet him? Hurry up and tell us everything that happened. Seng Cheng was a little confused as he said. Thus, they recounted how they had been chased down and how Sima Yuyue had gracefully appeared out of nowhere and saved them all. Then, how she had saved the people from the Moonbow clan, and how she had killed the 10,000 people. This Junior Valley Master is so domineering. Seng Tai laughed loudly after hearing everything. The other party had wanted to use this opportunity to kill their younger generation, but they had not expected that all of their own people would be killed. At the same time, his eyes were filled with anger. The Sage Pavilion and Cloud Cave really wanted to start a fight. The battle between the two sacred beasts affected the space inside. It's no wonder that the passage opened earlier. Granny Yun said, "This time, we really have to thank you all. If you were your Junior Valley Master, our people would be in danger." "Huh, well said." Tsing Ching said, "Granny Yun, this time, our divine Devil Valley will not let this matter rest." "What does your Moonbow clan say?" "Humph, do you think they can kill our people just because they want to?" Granny Yun snorted coldly, "Wait for us to go back and report to the sect master. If there is a decision, we will let you know." "All right, I will also go back and report to the Valley Lord and the others," Tsing Ching said. "Goodbye." Granny Yun brought Xiaoya and the others and left. Tsing Ching also brought Yuni and the others back to the Divine Devil Valley to report to the Valley Lord. The other disciples of the Divine Devil Valley quickly found out about what had happened in the Little Realm. While they were furious, they were also curious about Sima Yuyue. They all hoped that they could meet their domineering Junior Valley Master soon. Chapter 378. Achoo! 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 Sima Yuyue, who everyone was thinking about, sneezed a few times on the bed. Thinking, scolding, and nagging. "Is someone nagging me?" She rubbed her nose and said. Creak, the door opened and Bei Gong Tang walked in. Seeing a certain someone awake, she said, "You've already slept for 2 days. Haven't you slept enough?" "Ah, sleeping is such a pleasant thing." Sima Yuyue stretched herself on the bed and placed her hands behind her head. She bent one leg and crossed the other. This time, she slept for 2 days straight. Actually, it was not because she was dizzy from the teleportation array, but because she had never been so relaxed when she was in the Little Realm. When he was cultivating in the saber-toothed tiger tribe, he didn't rest for a moment for several months. He was constantly cultivating, and cultivating. If she stopped, she would feel the danger of her body being burned. Later on, after leaving the saber-toothed tiger's territory and leaving the Little Realm, although she didn't cultivate all the time, she didn't relax and rest either. It wasn't until they arrived here that she took the opportunity to rest. Ever since Bei Gong Tang met Sima Yuyue, she had never seen her sleep on the bed for such a long time. When she thought about how hard Yuyue had worked, she admitted that she couldn't compare to her. Bei Gong Tang sat at the bedside and looked at Sima Yuyue, who was dressed as a man. She sighed in her heart, "When will you be able to change back to wearing female clothes like us? I think a lot of people will be charmed to death. When are you going to change back to women's clothes?" Sima Yuyue was stunned. She had been asked this question before, but she had never thought about it seriously. She had always felt that since her father had specially instructed her to do this, it must be very important. However, she had never seriously thought about why her father would do this. She only felt that everything would be clear once she met her father. However, why did her father dress up as a man? And he even said that it would endanger his life? And where exactly was his father at this moment? "Yuyue, what are you thinking about?" Bei Gong Tang's voice pulled her back from her thoughts. "Nothing." Sima Yuyue smiled and said, "You didn't come here to ask me this, right?" "No." Bei Gong Tang said. "I came to tell you that Guo Pei Pei said that her father personally came to bring you to the Guo clan as a guest. He's the head of the family, but when he found out that you were sleeping, he was eagerly waiting in the hall." "The Guo family head came? Why didn't you call me?" Sima Yuyue said. "Didn't I come over as soon as I got the news?" Bei Gong Tang shrugged. She had been in the house the entire time, so she didn't know. Sima Yuyue got up from the bed and entered the spirit pagoda to wash up before leaving with Bei Gong Tang. They went to the lobby of the inn and saw a middle-aged man sitting in the middle. Guo Pei Pei was sitting beside him, talking about something. Guo Pei Pei and her father Guo Si Ming stood up when they saw them. "Yuyue, this is my father." Guo Pei Pei smiled and said. "Father, she is Yuyue, the Junior Valley Master of the Divine Devil Valley. I'm really sorry. I slept too much these 2 days. They didn't even inform me that Uncle Guo was coming." Sima Yuyue apologized to the two of them. "I was the one who told them not to disturb you. Guo Siming said, I heard that you weren't feeling well. It wouldn't be good to disturb your rest. Uncle Guo, you don't have to call me little friend. Just call me by my name. Sima Yuyue said, Pei Pei and I are friends. You are naturally my elder. Huh, since that's the case, I'll be thick-skinned and act as your elder. Guo Siming said. Yuyue, I told my father about what happened in the little realm. He asked you to stay there for a while and wait for Yulin to come back. Guo Pei Pei said. Does Uncle Guo know of any way for us to return to the Yilin continent? Sima Yuyue asked. I don't have a way either. But I think the older generation in the family might know. After all, we have to travel through space. I don't have the power to do that. Guo Siming said, you can stay in our residence and wait for your other companion. Then I'll have to trouble you. After a while, the Sima family came down and followed Guo Siming to the Guo residence in the suburbs. The Guo family knew about what happened in the little realm. Although they didn't know Sima Yoyue's identity, the Guo family was very grateful and courteous to them. Guo Siming specially prepared a large courtyard for them. After the 10 of them moved in, it was very spacious. At first, the Guo family would come to see them with the flag of gratitude. 2 days later, Sima Yuyue and the others expressed that they liked peace and quiet. Hence, Guo Siming ordered that the Guo family was not to disturb Sima Yuyue and the others. Since then, the courtyard had quieted down. After a few days, the Yun family head came to visit and requested to see Sima Yuyue. When Sima Yuyue heard the word request to see, she couldn't help but pursed her lips. She was really not used to this identity. Even the head of the family had to use this word to see her. Actually, she didn't know that to the people of the lower continents, even a random disciple would be treated with respect, let alone someone of her status. What's more, she was the future successor of a power. The Yun family head and the Yun family head were very similar in both appearance and temperament. However, in his eyes, there were more traces of age. Greetings to the Junior Valley Master. Yin Jin Wei bowed to Sima Yuyue. Sima Yuyue was too lazy to be courteous now. She raised her hand and said, Yun family head is too courteous. May I know why you've come to find me today? She saw that the Yun family head had a worried look on his face, as if he was worried about something. Yun Jin Wei looked at Sima Yuyue and said, I won't hide it from the Junior Valley Master. I've come this time to ask for a favor. At the same time, it concerns your companions. Is it because of Yulin and Yunfeng? Sima Yuyue asked. Yun Jin Wei nodded and said, yes. I heard that the Junior Valley Master and your companions can determine each other's location. I want to ask, is it still possible now? Sima Yuyue took out the jade and looked at it. She nodded and said, it's still possible. Did something happen to Yulin and the others? It's like this. A few years ago, made a soul lamp for Feng. He can use it to determine whether Feng is safe or not. However, recently, we discovered that the soul lamp is flickering. Furthermore, they haven't returned since they left the little realm. That's why I'm worried that something has happened to them outside. I heard that you can determine their location, so I've specially come to ask the Junior Valley Master to help us find them. Soul lamp was a lamp made from a person's spiritual energy. If the soul lamp flickered, it meant that the owner was in danger and his life was at stake. Chapter 379. Knowing that Sima Yulin might be in danger, Sima Yu could no longer sit still. She did not need Yun Jinwei to say anything as she stood up and said, let's go. Let me talk to Pepe and the others. Half an hour later, all the members of the Sima family left Guo Mansion together. Before leaving, Guo Siming said that he would try his best to find a way for them to go back. The Yun clansmen were already waiting in the city. Under Sima Yu's guidance, they rushed towards the south. After passing through a few teleportation arrays, they were not too far away from Sima Yulin and the others. However, Yun Jinwei had said that they were currently in a no-man's land, so they could only take flying beasts. Yu, will Yu Lin be alright? Sima Yu Qing said worriedly. They had a good relationship with Yu Lin since they were young. If something happened to him, everyone would be very sad. Sima Yue looked at the jade stone in her hand. The dot on it was still moving, saying, "It's all right. It's not like we don't know Yu Lin's abilities. No matter how big the danger, he will definitely be able to overcome it." Sima Yu Qing nodded, hoping that what Sima Yu said was true. Junior Valley Master, how far are we from them? Yin Jin Wei asked. According to the current speed, it will take at least 2 more days. Sima Yue asked, Patriarch Yun, what exactly is that place? Why isn't there a teleportation array for such a long distance? That place is a dangerous place. Because the environment is too harsh, even those with god-level strength can't last more than a month inside. That's why it hasn't become a city yet. Yin Jin Wei said. What's inside? Sima Yuyang asked. Most of them are swamps or mountain ranges. There is a poisonous miasma that has not dissipated for 10,000 years. There are also many poisonous spirit beasts. Yin Jin Wei said, there are many divine beasts, and even many sacred beasts. Sima Yue looked at the people she brought with her. There were quite a number of god-ranked and above people, but she wasn't sure if it would be enough. How did Yu Lin and the others get sent here? Sima Yuren asked. You just left a little earlier than us. You're so far behind, and you're so unlucky to have entered this place. Fatty Chu said. They rushed day and night, and after 2 days, they were finally not far from Sima Yu Lin and the others. But they couldn't fly anymore, because in front of them was a thick poison barrier that couldn't be dissolved. Yu Lin? Are you alright? Sima Yu took out the mother-son stone and tried to contact Sima Yu Lin. Yu? Sima Yu Lin's weak voice sounded. Although he was not in good condition, at least he was still alive. All the members of the Sima family smiled. Yu Lin, how are you now? Is Yunfeng with you? Sima Yue asked. Yunfeng is with me, but his current situation is worse than mine. Sima Yu Lin couldn't be bothered to ask why Sima Yu and the others were here, and told them about Yunfeng's situation. You guys wait inside, we'll come and save you immediately. Sima Yu said. You have to be careful, the poison here is too thick. You can't see anything after entering, and there are also strange poison beasts. Sima Yu Lin said. Okay, we got it. Hang in there. Sima Yu gave the mother-son stone to Sima Yu Yang after she finished speaking, and got him to keep in contact with Sima Yu Lin outside, so that he could keep an eye on their situation. She took out an antidote pill and ate it, then tried to walk in, to feel the poison. But before she could take 2 steps, she felt uncomfortable and had no choice but to retreat. What a strong poison. Yin clan leader, you guys try. Divine rank might be able to hold on a little longer. But Yin Jin Wei didn't go far before he came back. Looks like ordinary people can't go in. Sima Yu said. Then what do we do? With such a strong poison, won't Yu Lin and the others die in there? Sima Yu Qing said anxiously. Sima Yu thought about it and said, I have an idea. You guys wait for me here. As she spoke, she walked into the poison. The moment she entered, crimson flames surrounded her, burning away all the poison around her, forming a vacuum. What a high temperature. Yin Jin Wei sighed when he felt the terrifying temperature. Perhaps only a flame like this could burn a path through such a dense poisonous miasma. Sima Yu went in 3 to 4 meters before she could no longer see her silhouette. It could be seen how thick the poison was. The jade stone was too close, so it was useless. But the visibility here was too low, and she didn't know where Sima Yu Lin was. Mo Sha, can you tell the direction here? She called Mo Sha out to ask. Mo Sha glanced at her and said, follow me. Mo Sha led her in a direction, and told her where there was a little swamp. After walking for a few tens of meters, he said, we're here. Sima Yu saw Sima Yu Lin and the others, one sitting and one lying down. There was a white circle around them that blocked the poison outside. Although Sima Yulin was weak and had many injuries on his body, he still had the strength to sit up. This meant that he was conscious. As for Yunfeng, he had already fainted. Yulin. She walked over and called out to Sima Yulin. Sima Yulin opened his eyes and saw Sima Yu surrounded by a ball of flame. His eyes shone with hope. Because Mo Sha was hidden in the poison, he wasn't seen. Yu, quickly save Yunfeng. Sima Yulin said. I'll take you guys out first. Sima Yu said, remove the array, and I'll take you guys into the spirit pagoda. Yunfeng was already unconscious. Even if they went in, they wouldn't find anything. Okay. Sima Yulin didn't hesitate and immediately removed the array protecting them. Sima Yu brought them into the spirit pagoda at the same time. There are still people from the Yun clan waiting outside. I can't cure you now. You guys hold on for a while. Sima Yu said as she went out and got Mo Sha to take her out. When they were about to reach the edge of the poison, Mo Sha took back the devil's snare bracelet. She called Sima Yulin and Yunfeng out and dragged them out. We're out. Yu, are you guys okay? Feng. The people outside were extremely happy when they saw them come out. Sima Yu released Sima Yulin and Sima Yu and gave him a pill. After that, she placed Yunfeng on the ground and fed him a pill. She untied his clothes and took out a silver needle to perform acupuncture on him, expelling all the poison from his body. Once the poison was expelled, the pill in his body took effect and Yunfeng woke up. Sima Yu quickly removed the silver needles from his body. Then, she took out another set and went to the side to treat Sima Yulin's poison. Feng, how did you get sent to a place like this? Yun Jinwei saw that Yunfeng had woken up and his heart finally calmed down. Yunfeng saw the situation clearly and knew that he was safe. He said solemnly, Father, we weren't sent here. We were forced in. You're tuning in to the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.